Hello dear students, welcome to Infinity Learn by Sri Chaitanya. Yeah, I am here to discuss 2026 JEE Advanced P2 paper. Right, hope you are all ready dear students to see the detailed solution and overall paper 2 analysis it is. So there are 18 questions in each subject in paper 2 and surprisingly there are single correct answer type questions and multi correct answer type questions, followed by integer or I can say numerical answer type questions and then paragraph kind of questions. So we can see negative marks is quite less, and here the paper especially mathematics part is not that difficult, it is quite encouraging. Out of 18 questions, a student who can give time for math more than 1 hour 15 minutes can do 60 to 70% of the paper comfortably. So most of the questions are catchy and not that surprising. So when compared to physics and chemistry in this paper, I could say that math paper is not at all a difficult one, especially in paper 2. Right dear students, without any further ado, let us enter the solutions of the questions. Right, so first question as usual from vectors, a simple question. A bar be two vectors and PQR be the points with position vectors A bar plus B bar respectively, and he has given some data like magnitude of A cross B is root 21, magnitude of A minus B is 3, and A bar minus B bar are perpendicular to each other. Then the area of the triangle OPR. The question is very simple, just try to note the data. Let the point P be A bar and Q be B bar, and as he said R is nothing but A bar plus B bar. That's fine. First point to note is these two are perpendicular, so their dot product is 0. A bar dot A bar will become A square, magnitude of A square, minus A dot B is going to be 0 because they are perpendicular. So it's very clear that A square is going to be A bar dot B bar, first point. Then next point here is you just take square on both sides, this becomes A square plus B square plus 2A dot B is equal to 21, and here A square plus B square minus 2A dot B is going to be 9. From this, if you subtract 4A dot B is going to be, you can say 21 minus 9 is 12, and hence A bar dot B bar will become 3. So from this you can also say, since this is equal to 3, magnitude of A square is 3, so A value is root 3. Not only that, if you take this particular equation again, you substitute A square is going to be 3, B square let us find, A dot B is also 3, so plus 6 is equal to 21, so B square is going to be 12, so B must be root 12. Since A dot B is equal to 3, it means that magnitude of A into magnitude of B into cos of the angle between them is going to be 3 here, okay, and hence cos theta is going to be 1 by 2, so sin theta is going to be root 3 by 2. This is all because my aim is to find area of triangle OPR. O is origin, P is A bar, B bar, so area magnitude of A bar cross B bar, which is magnitude of A B sin theta. So this is magnitude of A is going to be root 3, magnitude of B is root 12, sin theta is root 3 by 2. This is going to be, here 2 can be cancelled, root 4, this is 3 root 3 by 2 is the answer. 3 root 3 by 2 is the answer, which is option C. Clear? Right dear students? So this is question number 1. The next question, you see this is a question related to parabola. So T be the tangent to the parabola y square is equal to 16x. at this particular point. Let L be the tangent to the same parabola at another point x1, y1, and L and T are perpendicular to each other. The distance between the points x1, y1 and the focus of the parabola. You see, dear student, this question is very easy, I can say. So, since this is the parabola, it is a point on this. The tangent equation T is nothing but just apply S1 is equal to 0. y1 is equal to 8 into x plus x1, which gives, this is nothing but 4y it is, which is x minus 4y plus 64 equal to 0. Now, this is a parabola whose it's the tangent to the parabola with slope 1 by 4. So, a line perpendicular to this will have slope minus 4. So, any tangent to this particular parabola with slope minus 1, y is equal to mx into a by m. A is going to be 4 by m is minus 4, which implies y is equal to minus 4x minus 1. Therefore, you can feel it as 4x plus y plus 1 equal to 0. I know this is the tangent to this particular standard parabola. Can I find the point of contact? Point of contact is x1, y1. So, standard parabola, standard line. Compare this line with Lx plus My plus n. Point of contact is n by L comma minus 2a m by L. Okay. So, n by L will become 1 by 4 minus 2 into a is going to be 4, m is 1 by L is nothing but 4. So, which is going to be 1 by 4 comma minus 2. This is x1, y1. The focus of this particular parabola a comma 0 is nothing but 4 comma 0. Now, you just try to find the distance between these two. 4 minus 1 by 4 whole square, that is 15 by 4 whole square plus this is 4. So, 225 plus 16 into 4, 64 will get 289 by 16, 17 by 4 is the right answer. It's simple. It is just basic question. A point on the parabola is given, find the tangent equation, find a line, another line which is perpendicular to this, find the line which is perpendicular to this, which is tangent. So, just apply, prepare the tangential condition. So, for this find the point of contact, find the distance of that to this. It is a combination of very simple points of the topic parabola. Okay. Next, third question. This is a differential equation. You can here just separate, y cube can be taken common here. So, this is dy, you just separate e power x common here. So, you can write dy by dx is equal to e power 5x plus 1 into y cube by this is e power x into 1 plus y power 4. Now, can't we solve this by variable separable method? So, this is going to be 1 plus y power 4 by y cube into dy is equal to e power 5x plus 1 by e power x dx, right. Now, 1 by y cube plus y into dy is equal to e power 4x plus e power minus x dx. You just integrate. So, y power minus 2 by minus 2, minus 2 by minus 2 plus y integral is y square by 2 is equal to e power 4x integral e power 4x by 4 plus e power minus x by minus 1 plus c. To find the constant of integration, when x is 0, y is 1 by root 2. You just substitute 1 by root 2, that is root 2 power minus 2, which is going to be root 2 power 2. 2 by 2 is, this is minus 1. So, this is 1 by 2 will become 1 by 4. This is when x is 0, this is 1 by 4 minus 1 plus c. Therefore, c is 0. If c is 0, dear students, obviously this is going to be, the curve is going to be, yeah, so this is half into y square minus 1 by y square is equal to, you can also take here half common, you will get here, so e power 4x by 2 minus, you see, 2 e power minus x, correct. So now in this stage, because c is 0, now the value of ln2 base e he is asking. So we need to find x value is ln2 base e will become half gets cancelled, y square minus 1 by y square is equal to, if you put log 2 here, this is going to be 2 power 4 16 by 2, that is 8 minus, this is going to be e power log 2 will become 2, 2 by 2 is minus 1, 7 this is. So y power 4 minus 7y square minus 1 equal to 0 is the quadratic equation. You just find y square value, that is minus b plus or minus root of b square minus 4ac by 2a. So now y square must be positive, discard the negative 1. So y must be square root of 7 plus root 53 by 2. So option C is the right answer, correct. 7 plus root 53 by 2. Clear? It's a very simple differential equation, variable separable equation. Can't I say that this is JEE mains level question? Yes. Next, you see the fourth question, the value of the definite integral 0 to 2. It's a simple question. So integral 0 to 2, 1 by 3 power x plus 3 dx. Simply you take 3 power x as t and hence 3 power x into log 3 into dx is equal to dt. So this becomes, when x is 0, this is 1, when x is 2, this is 9, 1 by t plus 3 into dx is dt by t into ln 3. So 1 by ln 3 into integral 1 to 9, this is 1 by t plus 3 minus t. See, 1 by t minus 1 by t plus 3 into dt and 3 comes here. So which is 1 by 3 into ln 3, this is ln t by t plus 3 is the integral, apply the limits 1 to 9, this is 1 to 9, okay. So you will get 1 by 3 into ln 3, so log of 9 by 12, 3 by 4 minus 1 by 4, which becomes log 3 here. This is, yeah, this is going to be 3 by 4, 1 by 3 log 3 this is going to be 1 by 3 into log 3 into this. So you can write here 1 by, let me write, yeah. So you can just write this like a simple question it is, yeah. So this is 1 by 3 log 3 into, you see, log 9 by 12, 3 by 4 minus 1 by 4, this becomes log 3. So this gets cancelled, 1 by 3 is the answer. Very simple question it is, very simple question, right? So the value of the definite integral, just take 3 power x is equal to t, obviously it becomes a simple integral. The next, friends, this question, you see, he is taking f of x as 10th derivative of x square minus 1 whole power 10, followed by some questions. To answer this question, you can take f of x, okay, here you see 10th derivative. Better you just take the function here, yeah, I mean to say 1 minus x square whole power, you see, 10 is taken. So can I write it as 10c0 minus 10c1 x square plus 10c2 x power 4 and so on minus 10c4, of course, plus 10c4 x power 8 minus 10c5 x power 10 and so on. I can write 10c10 x power 20. This is the expansion. Now I have to take its derivative 10 times. So since this is a constant. In the first derivative itself it will go. Second derivative, you see x square, first derivative, second derivative, third derivative, it becomes 0. So as I am taking derivative up to 10 times, x power 4 term up to here it gets cancelled. So suppose f of x here is the 10th derivative of this is going to be this 10, even this also goes, this x power 10 becomes constant after 10 times derivative. You just observe what will you get, 10c5, x power 10, 10 times derivative, 10 x power 9, then 10 into 9 into x power 8, finally you are left with 10 factorial here. Plus 10c6, can you guess what could be this? This is going to be 10c6 x power 12. If you take derivative of x power 12 10 times, you will get 12 into 10, 11 into 9 into and so on up to 3 you will get. That is 12 factorial by, you will get 2 factorial will be left, because 12 2 you will get in the product, up to 1 you will get, up to 3 you will get 2 factorial, and here still x square will be left. The next one you can write 10c7 with minus, it is going to be x power 14, no, 14 factorial by 4 factorial into x power 4 and so on. Finally 10c10, this is going to be 20 factorial by 10 factorial into x power 10. This is going to be f of x. You see, finally f of x is a polynomial of degree 10, first point, and x power 8 coefficient he is asking, means the coefficient just before it, this is minus 10c9, 18 factorial by 8 factorial into x power 8. Now you see the options. The first option is coefficient of x power 8 minus 10c9 is nothing but 10, 18 factorial by 8 factorial. This option is correct. And the degree of the polynomial f of x is equal to 10, correct. And the constant term you see here, minus 10c5 into 10 factorial, but he said minus 10 factorial by 5 factorial, which is wrong. Now we are left with b. So the value of f of 1 plus f of minus 1 is equal to, to answer this question, so f of x is this, you see the given function you can write 1 minus x into 1 plus x whole power 10 whole power 10. This is the given polynomial. I am going to take derivative of this. So first derivative like u derivative of v plus v derivative of u. If you take 10 derivatives, you will get f of x. In this, in all the terms there will be 1 minus x, except there will be one term where this is left alone. So f of 1, all the terms will get cancelled, this becomes 2 power 10, because in that term 1 minus x will be absent, in all the other terms 1 minus x will be present, they will become 0, this term will be left alone, 2 power 10. Similarly f of minus 1, so there will be one term in which all 1 plus x will be there, but one term will be left with 1 minus x whole power 10 alone. So this is here, if you put minus 1 2 power 10 into, here you can get derivative, 10 factorial will also be there 10 times, because you see there will be a term. So in the 10 times derivative here I am talking about, this is completely absent, and this will become 10 into 1 plus x, 10 into 9 into 1 plus x power n, like this. So sum of these two is going to be 10 factorial into 2 power 10 into 2. So this becomes 10 factorial into 2 power 11. Even this option is also correct. So A, B, C is the right answer. Understand? This is nothing but x square minus 1 whole power 10 related 10th derivative. The next, friends, this question, ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0 is a quadratic equation where a, b, c are positive integers and they are in AP. So now certain options are given. To answer this question, for this particular equation ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0, it is having integral root, say minus m minus n first of all. So sum of the roots is minus of m plus n is minus b by a, say b by a. product of the roots mn is equal to c by a. Since ABC are in AP, you can write 2b is equal to a plus c. Now given ABC are positive integers, mn also integer, it is integer means a must divide b. Therefore, b is equal to some ka, you can write, for some natural number k. Understand? Mn are integers, means he said minus m, okay, mn are integers, minus m minus n. So, m plus n must be b by a. So, b must be divisible by a. So, if b is equal to ka, you write here, c you can write here like 2 into ak is equal to a plus c. So, which gives c is nothing but 2k minus 1 into a. And moreover, friends, here if you just divide with a, this becomes 2b by a is equal to 1 plus c by a. So, which gives b by a is nothing but m plus n is equal to 1 plus c by a is nothing but, you can write mn, right? Let it be there. Let us continue from here. So, can I write it as mn minus 2m minus 2n is equal to minus 1? For completing this, add 4 on both sides. This is m minus 2 into n minus 2 is equal to 3. Do remember mn are integers. So, 3 in the sense this must be either 1 into 3 or 3 into 1, which gives m must be here 5 comma 3. mn must be 5 3 or 3 5. mn must be, right? So, in this case, if mn 5 comma 3, so what can you say about b by a? b by a must be 8, c by a must be mn 15. So, b must be 8a and c must be 15a. So, b is 8a, c is, you see, b is 8a, c must be 15a. Now, you verify the options. C minus b is integral multiple of a. C minus b, correct. Both the roots of this are odd integers. You see, the roots are minus m minus n minus 5 minus 3, correct. This is also correct. If c is 15, ab is 8. You see, if c is 15, in this case, a is equal to 1. If a is equal to 1, b is equal to 8. So, AB is equal to 8, correct? This is also correct. If B is equal to 8, in this case A is equal to 1. If A is equal to 1, C is equal to 15. So, what are the roots? X is equal to 3 is the root of this particular equation. You form the equation AX square plus BX, which is 8X plus 15. Will 3 satisfy? No way, because all positive will not satisfy. So, D is wrong. A, B, C is the right answer for this particular question. Clear? Next, you see this question, it is a 3D geometry based question. Here, let L be the straight line, P, Q, R are given. You see, the situation is like, you see, P is a point here, Q is a point here. From a point R, a perpendicular is drawn onto this S, which internally divides PQ, and he has taken a line through R which cuts the same line at T, and moreover, so S divides PT in some ratio he has given. You see, in this problem P is 1 2 minus 1 and Q is 2 3 1 and R is 4 minus 1 5. Yeah. Now he has given PS is to ST is 1 is to 2. PS is to ST is equal to 1 is to 2. That's what he has given. So he is asking to find area of triangle PRT and orthocenter he is asking. It's simple 3D geometry question. You just let us try to find S. This is the line. What are the DRs? 2 minus 3 1, 3 minus 2, 1. These are the DRs. So can I take the point S in a general format? So this is 1 plus lambda, 2 plus lambda, minus 1 plus 2 lambda. Yes, this is S. Now since it is foot of the perpendicular, RS is perpendicular to PQ. What are RS DRs? 1 plus lambda minus 4, which is lambda minus 3, and 2 plus lambda plus 1, 3 plus lambda, minus 1 plus 2 lambda minus 5, that is 2 lambda minus 6. These are the DRs, and these DRs are going to be 1, 1, 2. So the dot product is 0 in the sense 2 lambda plus 4 lambda, 6 lambda minus 6, 6 lambda minus 12 equal to 0. So lambda is equal to 2. If lambda is equal to 2, you can observe the point S as this is 3, this is 4, this is 4 minus 1, 3, 3, 4, 3. Now he said, yeah, T point we don't know and we need to find, there is a line. He said, yeah, one more thing he has given, yeah, or there is a line passing through R intersect line at the point T such that S divide the line segment PT internally in the ratio. So here, so S is dividing PT in the ratio 1:2 in the sense, so this is T plus 2P by 3 is equal to S. So T is nothing but 3S minus 2P. What is 3S? 9, 12, 9 minus 2P is going to be 2, 4 minus 2, which is 7, 12 minus 4 is 8, 9 plus 2 is 11. This is what T is. Now friends, I mean to say you got PRT. You know the point PRT. How to find area of the triangle in 3D geometry? Half modulus PR bar cross PT bar. Enough. You can find, you are going to get 18 root 5 as the answer. Similarly, orthocenter of triangle PRT in the sense, suppose this is PRT, you can proceed from answer to question PH. Suppose PH DRs and RT DRs, the dot product must be 0. RH DRs into PT DRs dot product is equal to 0. You can verify so that you can easily identify of these A satisfies but not B. Or if you want to solve the procedure, you can also find H as XYZ, the DRs part you can find the line equation. I mean to say, you know in 3D geometry how to solve the point of intersection of the two lines after finding the DRs and all. Okay, so that is all about this question. This is going to be A, D will be the right answer. Okay, the next, this question, a differential equation is given, f of x satisfying this and y of 1 equal to 0 followed by certain questions. X dy by dx, this is given like x dy by dx is equal to y minus x cube. Okay, fine. Interestingly, this is x dy is equal to y dx minus x cube dx. You just bring it this side, x dy minus y dx by x square will become minus x dx. So you can write this as d of y by x, yeah, is equal to minus x dx. Now you just integrate y by x is equal to minus x square by 2 plus c. Now heat is passing through 1 comma 0 point. This is 0 minus 1 by 2. So c must be 1 by 2. C must be 1 by 2. Therefore y will become minus x cube by 2 plus x by 2. This is your y. Now in the options he is asking about the minimum maximum of this. For that, my dear friends, you just find y dash. Of course, y dash is this itself, y by x minus x cube by 2. Okay, fine. This is minus half into x cube derivative 3x square plus half, which is half into 1 minus 3x square. The derivative becomes 0 at plus or minus 1 by root 3. So, minus 1 by root 3 plus 1 by root 3, and if x is more than 1 by root 3, the derivative negative, positive, negative by wavy curve method. Now, negative to positive it will have local minima, positive to negative it will have local maxima. So, friends, at 1 by root, you see the options. At 1 by root 3 the function has local maxima is the right answer, minima is the wrong answer, and f is increasing in the interval 1 comma 2. 1 comma 2 is here derivative negative decreasing in fact. So, I can say this is wrong. And the last, f of x is equal to g of x solutions and x positive. Simple, you simply equate 4x cube minus 5x square plus 3 by 2 into x is equal to, what is this? This is minus x cube by 2 plus x by 2, minus x cube by 2 plus x by 2 this is. So, you just simplify, this is, you can cancel x is equal to 0, I want positive solutions. 4x square minus 5x plus 3 by 2 is minus x square by 2 plus 1 by 2. Multiply with 2, so that this is 8x square minus 10x plus 3 is equal to minus x square plus 1. So, 9x square minus 10x plus 2 equal to 0. You can observe two real roots here, and both are positive, and hence the set is having two elements is correct, because he said the set has two elements. Okay. So, there must be this, the set has two elements, that is also correct. So, BD is the right answer for this. The next, you see this question, R denote the set of all real numbers. Let I is this. This question is quite interesting. If you just find ST, you will get ST to be 0, minus 1, 1, 1 you will get. Okay. That means A is 0, B is minus 1, C is 1, D is 1. Now, he is simply substituting here A 0, B is 1, of course minus 1 by 1 plus I. You just simplify, it is not I. Whereas A 0, B minus 1, C, D are equal to 1 means 1 plus omega. Here 1 plus omega is minus omega square. 1 by omega square is omega. B is correct. Then come to D, you just write, so Z is H. What is H? Set of all complex numbers where Y positive. You simply write A 0, B is minus 1 by C into, suppose Z is some x comma y where Y is positive plus D is 1. C is also 1. So, which is minus 1 by x plus 1 plus IY. You just multiply with x plus 1 minus IY by A square minus B square, which is minus I square y square will become y square. You just see the imaginary part, plus y by this, where y is already positive because y is taken in this. So, clearly it again belongs to H. This is correct. This is correct. Next, coming to option C, here ST matrix is very clear. You just observe that here you will get ST is going to be 0, minus 1, 1, 1. You just find ST cube, you will get minus I. ST power 6 is going to be I. Now, he said ST square is equal to ST power 8, right, which is equal to ST power 8 plus 6, 14, which is S is equal to 20. These are the things. But he is saying ST square is equal to STM means M is integer multiple of 8 he is saying. So, no, here okay, but not every time. So, this option is going to be absolutely wrong. So, BD is the right answer. correct? Then next friends. So we've done single correct answer type questions and multi correct answer type questions. Coming to the next part, in this question, f denotes a function from a to b, but f must be like f of 2 not equal to 2, f of 4 not equal to 4. Consider he is taking set of all such functions, but you must observe that g is function from b to n. Output can be any number. G of f of x is 2 power x. Interesting point is, 2 power x is 1 function. So G circle f is 1 means f is 1. So I have to take this implies f is 1. If f is 1, my dear friends, so you have to map number of 1 functions from a to b is 7p5. But the point is, I shouldn't take those 1 functions where 2 mapped to 2 and 4 mapped to 4. So I mean to say 2 mapped to let it be a, 4 mapped to 4 let it be b, such 1 functions. I want n of a dash intersection b dash, which is n of mu minus n of a union b, which is n of mu minus of n of a plus n of b minus n of a intersection b, correct? So total number of 1 functions is 7p5 minus, so 2 is mapped to 2 kind of, then 4 will be left to 6 elements, 6p4. Similarly, n of b also 6p4. Common will be 2 mapped to 2, 4 mapped to 4, in the sense 3 are left and there 5 are left, which is 5p3. You just compute this, so you are going to get the answer, right? So this question, I can say the answer is going to be around 1860. The answer is, you just simplify, this is 1860. Okay, fine. The next, you see, a bookshelf contains 6 distinct books of mathematics and 5 distinct books of physics. 6 math and 5 physics. From these 11 books, 6 books are to be chosen. Total number of cases are 11C6. Now, so x denotes the absolute value of the difference between number of mathematics books chosen and number of physics books chosen. So finally, from 6 books are to be chosen, right? So from this you have to choose 6. So this 6 can be 6 here, maybe 0 here, 5 here, 1 here, 4, 2, maybe 3, 3, or reverse 2, 4, 1, 5, 0 kind of, right? Now I mean to say he is preparing a new variable, x is modulus of a minus b, the absolute difference between number of, so in this case the absolute difference is going to be 6, here 4, here 2, here 0, okay. So you just write p of x is equal to 6. P of x is equal to 6 means, so you have to select 6 from here, 6C6 into 5C0 by 11C6 is the probability. Suppose P of x is equal to 4, that means difference must be 4. So here 5, here 1, or here 5, here 1, 2 possibilities, which is 6C5 into 5C1 or 6C1 into 5C5, both the cases, by 11C6, right? Similarly, Px is equal to 2 means here 4, here 2, 6C4 into 5C2 or 6C2 into 5C4 by 11C6. Similarly, Px is equal to 0 means 3, 3 only. Now, I want the mean of this. Mean means, sigma xi pxi. So that means here xi 6 into px is equal to 6. Already we have this number, plus 4 into px is equal to 4 plus 2 into px is equal to 2. Of course, 0 into px is equal to 0. This is why I didn't write px is equal to 0 case. you just simplify, you will get this, he said this as alpha and it is going to be 100 by 77 you will get. 100 by 77, he named it as alpha. So 77 alpha is going to be 100. Okay, right. The next, you see, this is a mains level question. There are 10 observations, of which for the 10 observations mean sigma xi by 10 is going to be 5, sigma xi square by 10 minus average square is given as 7. So, of which for 8 observations he has given mean and variance. Again, for those some, suppose capital X, let us call, 2 variables are missing. So, sigma capital Xi by 8 is equal to 4, sigma capital Xi square by 8 minus 4 square is equal to 3.5. These are the equations. From this, my dear friends, sigma capital Xi is 32 and here sigma capital Xi square is 19.5 into 8, that is 20 into 8, 160 minus 4, which is 156. Now from this here you can write 32 plus x9 plus x10 is going to be 50. Yeah, which means x9 plus x10 is going to be 18. Second case, sum of their squares. So this is 25 plus 7, 32 into 10, 320 this is. So this is 156 plus x9 square plus x10 square is going to be 320. So x9 square plus x10 square is going to be 1, you can say 4, this is yeah 31, this is 164. Yes. So I can say here, yeah, from these two you try to find, you can find x9, x10 be 8 comma 10, 100 plus 64, 10 plus 18. So smaller is x9, so 8 into 3, 24 plus 20, 44 is the answer. It's a purely mains level question, right? The next, friends, you see this question, consider the ellipse E given by this and let H be the hyperbola eccentricity. For this ellipse, what is the eccentricity? E is root of b square minus a square by b square, which is going to be 6 by 18, 1 by 3, 1 by root 3. And hence for the hyperbola eccentricity is it given as its reciprocal, so root 3. Then next, it's a foci plus or minus AE. So AE is nothing but, what is A here? Root 18 into 1 by root 3, which is root 6. So the foci are going to be plus or minus root 6 comma 0, which are going to be the foci of the hyperbola. So that means the figure will be like this. Okay, this is the hyperbola. So suppose for the hyperbola, if these two are the foci, 2AE will be the distance between them, 2 root 6. So AE is going to be root 6, A square E square is equal to there A square plus B square, correct? AE is going to be, or else you can also write B square is equal to A square into E square minus 1. So you can write B square is equal to A square E square is 6 minus A we want, A square it is, and E is already given, right? E square is going to be 3, 3 minus 1 is 2, 2A square this is, 2A square, B square is equal to 2A square. And you can also find here A square plus B square is equal to A square E square, B square plus A square is equal to A square E square, which is equal to 6. 3A square is equal to 6, A square is equal to 2, so B square is going to be 4. So the hyperbola equation will become x square by 2 minus y square by 4 is equal to 1. This is the hyperbola equation. Now you just find the point of intersection of this and root 5 y x square. So x square can be replaced by x square root 5y. Root 5y by 2 minus y square by 4 is equal to 1, which gives a quadratic equation 2 root 5y minus y square is equal to 4. So y square minus 2 root 5y, you see, y square minus 2 root 5y plus 4 equal to 0. Okay. From this you can find y1, y2, or difference of roots you can find mod y1 minus y2 is equal to root of b square minus 4ac by mod a, which is 2. Similarly, if you want mod x1 minus x2 you want, because you want the distance between them. So you just consider this, you will get x1 square plus y1 x2 square minus 2x1 x2. In fact, from this x1 square is root 5 y1, this is root 5 y1 plus root 5 y2 minus 2 into, here you see x1 square is root 5 y1, x2 square is root 5 y2. So x1 square x2 square is equal to 5 y1 y2. From this y1 y2 is equal to 4, which is 20. So you can write here root, this is minus 2 into root 20, root 20. So this becomes root 5 into y1 plus y2, sum of the roots is minus b by a, 2 root 5 minus 4 root 5, which is going to be 5 2s are 10 minus 4 root 5. Yeah, this is what he has given as d square. The distance between PQ is a plus b root 5, and a is going to be 10, b is going to be minus 4, and hence a minus b he is asking. 10 plus 4 could be the answer, dear friends. Okay, the answer is going to be 10. You just simplify this, you will get a minus b must be 18. So b minus 4, and what did he ask here? A plus b root 5. So you just simplify this, you will get the answer here to be, I can say, yeah, simplify the answer properly. A is 14, you have to get A is 14, yeah, A is 14, B is minus 4, so you will get 18. Check the calculation here, you will get the answer. So this is only x1 minus x2 whole square, right? Distance means y1 minus y2 whole square, 4 plus its square, 10 minus 4 root 5 will give you 14 minus 4 root 5. So A is 14, B is minus 4, A minus B will become 18. Okay, right? The next, dear students, yeah, this question, yeah, A is the real number, say alpha, step alpha denote the greatest integer less than or equal to alpha, fine. So in this interval, there are two functions given, f of x and g of x. Now, he is taking A is set of all points where f is discontinuous at x, g is discontinuous at x. In this function, f of x, let me talk about first, step of x cube into, if you just write ln of 1 plus sine square, yeah, you see pi x minus step x is n kind of n pi, sine of x minus n pi plus or minus, but square is there, you can write sine pi x, perfect. So which is always continuous. So I have no issue with this particular part. So step x cube, you know x cube is a monotonic function in this interval. So wherever x cube is integer, there it is discontinuous. X cube will be from minus 27 to plus 27. So when x cube will be minus 27 to plus 27, how many points will be there where it is discontinuous? You see 0 to 26, 26 and 26, that is 52 and 0, 53 points of discontinuity will be there, okay, wherever x cube is. But out of these, whenever x is, you see, 0, this becomes completely 0, and this part becomes 0, limit extends to 0, and at 1 also, 2 also, x in this interval, so especially 0 plus or minus 1 plus or minus 2, at this point this function completely becomes 0, left hand right hand limit will also be 0, continuous. So 53 minus 5, you will get 48 points where f is discontinuous. So this is going to be 48. Then coming to b, it is g of x, x cube here, no problem, sine square here. So this is pi into log of 1 plus, this is fractional part of x. So I don't have any problem except here. Fractional part of x is discontinuous wherever x is integer. That means here 0, 1, 2, you can say minus 1, minus 2. But at 0, because of this, this becomes continuous, because left hand limit, right hand limit function value becomes 0. Remove this, you will get 4 values here. If it is 4, here you will get, and 4, what are they? 1, 2, minus 1, minus 2, and A intersection B, 0, nothing is there. So this becomes 48, and this becomes 4 into 2, 8, and this is 0. 48 plus 8, 56 is the answer here. 56 is the answer. Clear? That's it. So next, this question. Yeah, coming to paragraph kind of questions. Here, this particular function e power minus x, and this we have to, you see, in the closed 0 to 10 pi, the points of intersection are given as alpha 1 to alpha n in the order, then n he is asking. So friends, here one curve is e power minus x, second curve is e power minus x into sin x plus cos x. Try to solve these two, you will get sin x plus cos x is equal to 1. So you just multiply with 1 by root 2, cos of x minus pi by 4, this is going to be 1 by root 2. You try to write the general solution, x minus pi by 4 is 2n pi plus or minus pi by 4. So you can get x is equal to 2n pi plus or minus pi by 4 plus pi by 4, n belongs to z. But we are thinking in the interval closed 0 to 10 pi closed interval, correct? So in this interval, dear students, put n is equal to 0 plus pi by 4, okay? Minus pi by 4 plus pi by 4 is 0. And plus pi by 4 plus pi by 4 is pi by 2. And if n is equal to 1, this is 2 pi plus 0. And 2 pi plus pi by 4 plus pi by 4, pi by 2 means 5 pi by 2. Similarly, n is equal to 1 is done to 4 pi. 4 pi is one possibility. So 4 pi plus pi by 2, 9 pi by 2. I can go up to 10 pi. Then again 6 pi, which is 13 pi by 2. This is 8 pi. 8 pi means, so 2 pi, 4 pi, 6 pi, 8 pi, that is 17 pi by 2. The next 10 pi also there, because both closed interval. You just count here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There are 11 solutions, my dear friends. The value of n is 11. Smallest is alpha 1. You see, this is alpha 1, this is alpha 2, alpha 3, alpha 4, like this. In the next question, he is asking to find the area of the region enclosed between the curves C1, C2 and the lines x is equal to alpha 1 and x is equal to alpha 4. Okay. So friends, here I mean to say, if you could draw the graph, e power minus x graph, this is, yeah. So at 0 it is 1, then it goes like this. And e power minus x into sin x plus cos x, at 0 it is 1, then again you know they will intersect at pi by 2, 2 pi, and then 5 pi by 2, and then 4 pi, like this. You see, 0 to pi by 2, sin x plus cos x value will be more than 1. So e power minus x into more than 1 means it will be above and it cuts here, then comes down, cuts here, goes like this. So he is asking us to find the area enclosed between these two curves, this and this and this. So this we can find by taking integral 0 to pi by 2. You see, upper curve is e power minus x into sin x plus cos x, minus lower curve is e power x dx, e power minus x dx, plus integral pi by 2 to 2 pi. You see here, this time this is above, this is below, e power minus x, or else you can just write modulus of the same integral. You can write, we know that it is negative, so I am putting modulus, plus integral 2 pi to 5 pi by 2, the same integral, right? That's what we need to do. So how to do this integral? So you just take e power minus x integral 0 to pi by 2, this is e power minus x into sin x plus cos x minus 1 dx. This part, similar integral limits will change, okay? So here let me tell you how to evaluate this particular integral. So you take minus x as t, this is 0, this is minus pi by 2, this is e power t, this is minus sin t, this is cos t minus 1, d of minus x will become minus dx, so dt with minus. You see, if you take e power t into what is its derivative, cos t derivative minus sin t, e power x into f of x plus f dash x. So this is integral minus pi by 2 to 0, or you can put, okay, so e power t into cos t minus 1 dt. Now you can compute this. Similarly, if you just take this integral without applying the limits, same limits you apply and simplify, you are going to get here the value to be in this particular format. So beta, you are going to get the area, you are going to get this part gets eliminated, you will get 5 by 2, the answer will be 2.5. It is just numerical simplification, that's it, okay. The next, I can say this is the curve. So ellipse number 1 and ellipse number 2, one ellipse is x square by 1 plus y square by 1 by 4 is equal to 1, x square by second is this. Yeah, symmetry is there about y is equal to x. This point you just solve, you will get 1 by root 5 comma 1 by root 5. Okay, so now question number 1 is asking the angle between the tangents drawn. For the first curve derivative y dash, implicit differentiation minus dou f by dou x by dou f by dou y, which is 8y, which is minus 1 by 4 into, by symmetry x is equal to y, this is the tangent slope. Similarly, for the second curve y dash is minus dou f by dou x by dou f by dou y, which is x is equal to y here minus 4. So you can find tan theta is equal to modulus of m1 minus m2 by 1 minus m1 m2, which is going to be, yeah, m1 minus m2 by 1 plus m1 m2, which is going to be modulus of, this is 16 minus 1, 15 by 8, correct. Tan theta is known, he wants 4 tan theta, 4 into 15 by 2, 7.5 will be the answer for this, right. And extension of this, here he is asking the area of this, same, yeah. So the area enclosed between these two by symmetry, my dear friends, if you take this particular area, same part here, 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 8 such parts will be there. So the area is going to be 8 times this integral, you know, 1 by root 5 comma 1 by root 5, which is integral 0 to 1 by root 5. What about this curve? This curve is this. So on x-axis I am doing 1 minus x square by 4 under root minus this curve y is equal to x line, right, x dx. That's it. So this gives you the answer. So this is 8 into integral, you can write, so 1 by 2 you can write, or so this is, this is the standard integral, right? 0 to root 5 root of 1 minus x square, you can write 2 here by 2 here, minus 2x dx, which is 4 into integral 0 to 1 by root 5 x by 2 into given function minus a square by 2 into sine inverse x by a, minus its integral is x square, apply the limit 0 to 1 by root 5. So this gets cancelled, you will get plus sine inverse x by a. After simplification, he is just, if it is, you will get this particular area as alpha, he wants cos alpha, he will get in terms of sine, so cot alpha you are going to get as 0.75. Okay. So friends, this is all about mathematics paper, right? So in a way, I can say, dear students, overall JEE Advanced 2026 paper 2 is comfortably easy, and you can say that this particular part you can, so now physics is going to start, next mathematics is done, and stay tuned to Infinity Learn, and paper 1 and paper 2 together 2026 JEE Advanced. What I can say is, it is mathematics part especially slightly easier than last year's, but it maintained the level. So within the time, answering these questions is bit difficult, so it will take little time, so right, so just stay tuned for physics and chemistry solutions, right? Okay, right, okay, fine. Until then, right, and I mean to say, physics chemistry part, most of the students felt, okay, most of the students felt this physics part is comparatively difficult and chemistry also a bit lengthy. So let us see, and any questions from your side, dear students? Any questions you want to ask? So related to JEE? So just here, so just you can give a poll whether how did you feel yesterday's paper, session 1, session 2, when compared to session 1, session 2 is, here is the poll, just try to give the poll, it is easy, tough or almost same. Any responses, dear students? Yeah. So in a nutshell, you see, you can say JEE Advanced related mathematics especially, what you need to know is you must be very strong at fundamental and basic things. Yeah, okay, right. So now Aniruddha sir is going to discuss physics part. Hello sir.
Hello sir.
Hi sir. Yeah, so overall how did you feel physics paper, sir?
Physics paper was a little on the tougher side, sir. There was lots of heavy calculation.
Okay.
Yes sir. So the physics paper was slightly tougher, I'll say, than last year, especially because it was very calculative.
Okay sir.
I mean, given enough time, a good student would be able to finish everything, maybe even solve everything. But in 1 hour, it's very difficult to do it also.
Fine, right. So I think physics is also in the similar line with math.
Oh.
So fine, sir.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
sir. Bye.
Okay, let's start with the physics section of paper 2 for advanced. Chalo, let's see, first one, it says a metal wire of cross-sectional area 0.5 millimeters square and length 100 meter is connected across a battery of EMF 2 volts and an internal resistance of 1 ohm. The density, atomic mass and electrical conductivity of the metal are 6.35 10 to the power 3, 63.5 gram per mole as the atomic mass, and the metal conductivity is also provided to us. Assume one conduction electron per atom of the metal. The drift velocity of the electrons in the wire is how much? Now, I'll go over the main concept and I'll say where most students, I believe, might have made a mistake over here. So the drift velocity formula you would generally go with is I divided by NEA. Now, you obviously, the current and all that we'll get into later, but you see this I by A can be written as the current density. So my drift velocity formula can be brought down into current density divided by N into E. Current density again by the microscopic form of Ohm's law can be written as sigma times of E, conductivity times the electric field, number density multiplied with an electronic charge. And lastly, this drift velocity electric field can be written as the voltage divided by the length, and you have N. Now up till here I believe most students might have reached. The place where you might have gotten stuck in was you put this voltage in as 2 volts given over here. But remember, here we are basically finding the drift velocity through that conductor, which is sort of behaving like an external resistor. If I were to create it over here, you have the cell and you can consider it like an external resistor. The cell has a EMF V and an internal resistance small r. Now the V that you use here is not the full EMF given by the cell, because a part of that EMF will be used up by this internal resistance here as well. So you have to consider that into account when trying to find what is the voltage that eventually is used up over here. How do you do that? If your EMF is given, you can assume that the external resistance is capital R, whose value you can get as L divided by sigma I. The length is provided to you, the area is provided to you, and even the conductivity sigma, where is it? The conductivity is also provided to you. You can get the external resistance's value. You can even get, it's given to you the internal resistance, so you can get the current. The current then is equal to the EMF, which is 2 volt, divided by your capital R plus small r. Again, I'm not getting into the heavy calculations over here. Once you have the current, then you go to the voltage as V is equal to that EMF minus I times of small r. EMF value you know as 2 volt, I value you would get from here, small r you would get. Take that, plug that EMF, plug that V in this formula. The other thing you'll have to calculate is this number density. How do you go to this number density? You have similar questions even in NCERT, like getting the number density part of it. So how do you go for the number density? You see, it is given to you what is the density of the material. Density of the material is provided to you. The atomic mass is given to you over here, 63.5 per mole. You can use them to find how many moles are there per meter cube. So over here you have 66.35 times 10 to the power 3 divided by the mass of each mole, which is 63.5 into 10 to the power minus 3, because it is in grams. So this gives you the number of moles. Now number of moles too, you need the number of atoms that are there. So we know each mole is 6.03 10 to the power 23, or in this case I think in the question it's given 6 into 10 to the power 23. Sorry. 6 into 10 raised to the power 23. Since I found the number of atoms and each atom contributes only 1 electron to it, so this literally is the number density. It is already in per meter cube because of this. So once you have the number density, plug that number density in here, plug the voltage from there, length is given, electronic charge is given, sigma is given, solve for all of them, and your answer should be option C. Okay. Let's move on to the next one. Next question says, a nuclear reactor starts producing a radioactive nuclide X from t equal to 0 at a constant rate of alpha per second. Each decay of X produces an energy E naught, which is utilized to heat a liquid of mass m and specific heat capacity S. Assuming no heat loss from the liquid and taking lambda as the decay constant of X, the rate of increase in the temperature of the liquid is how much? So basically you need to find the rate at which energy is produced. That's easy to get to. Think about the decay equation of this X. The decay equation of the X would look something like this. It won't just be minus lambda n. Minus lambda n is the rate at which it is actually decaying, but it's also getting produced at a constant rate of alpha. So the rate of change of the number of X is alpha minus lambda n. Lambda n is the rate at which the number decays. Alpha is the rate at which it keeps on increasing. Once you have that, you can already get an idea. I can get to an equation for n. We have dn over alpha minus lambda n, that is equal to dt. Apply the integration over here. You start with n value 0 because in the beginning there was literally nothing. You were literally starting, it starts producing. And let's say at a certain time t it is n and the time goes from 0 to t. We got that down. What do we have here? We have a minus 1 by lambda, ln of alpha minus lambda n, limits going from 0 to n. And here we just have a t. Plug the limits in, we get ln of alpha minus lambda n divided by, if I put n is equal to 0, I get an alpha, that is cross multiply minus lambda t. From here we can get alpha minus lambda n is alpha e to the power minus lambda t, or lastly what do we get to? We get lambda n is equal to alpha into 1 minus e to the power minus lambda t. Now you see, I'll not go for n, and lambda n is enough for me because lambda n tells me the rate at which that x is basically decaying, and each decay is what produces the energy E naught. Many students think the rate of decay is dn dt, so they should write alpha minus lambda. No, alpha is the one that's getting produced, that's not releasing energy. Release of energy comes just because of the decay of x, the rate at which the x is breaking down, and that is lambda n. And this is already per unit time, the number decaying per unit time. So we can get dE dt basically by multiplying this with energy. The rate of production of n, this is just E naught lambda n, which is E naught alpha minus lambda t. Now over here we know this energy is eventually going to heat up the body, which is energy is ms d theta. So d theta dt, that is equal to, my bad, E naught alpha 1 minus e to the power minus lambda t. Now d theta dt is what you're looking for. Put the ms down below. So E naught by alpha 1 minus lambda t, option A. Okay. Let's move to our next one. It says a beam of polychromatic light passes through a thin prism of prism angle 6 degree. Refractive index of the material of the prism varies with the wavelength lambda, as n lambda is a lambda plus b by lambda square, while alpha is 3 micrometer and beta is 0.096 micrometer square. If lambda min is the wavelength at which the angle of minimum deviation is smallest, then the correct value of dm is. It's a very direct, very basic question. You don't even have to bother too much. You know the deviation is equal to mu minus 1 times the angle of the prism. You can take this, or rather it's given n, so I'll write n, and plug it in. You will have n is equal to alpha lambda plus beta by lambda square minus 1 times a. Now since you're looking for at what value is it maximum, it's just applying a maximum minima. Go for d lambda is equal to 0. You get values of lambda, apply a second derivative on it to check basically for the minima value, and I'm not going into calculations here, it's just calculations past this, so it will give you option B. I think this was like the easiest straightforward question. Like if this would come in mains, no one would really bother about it. Acha, this is another place where I've seen a lot of students make a mistake. This says a particle of mass m, angular momentum L, is moving in a circular orbit of radius r0 under the influence of an attractive force F is equal to minus k by r square. Kind of the k is like gmm. Keeping its angular momentum unchanged, the particle is displaced radially by a small distance delta r, which is much less than 0, due to which its radial distance varies periodically. The corresponding time period is going to be what? Now, the place where most students have made a mistake is that they have gone with the error analysis method over here directly. They thought that the change in force, that itself is the restoring force because it's in equilibrium, and I've seen a lot of students do this, that they've gone delta F by F, that is basically 2 delta R by R, and then cross multiplying the F over there, and F is equal to K by R square, and they have solved for it, and even the L they have brought in from angular momentum, so on and so forth. But if you go by this method, it would be incorrect. Why? Because obviously there is some delta R, that's this delta R over here, and that would eventually lead to a change in this attractive force, which is fine till here. But that's not the restoring force over there. You see, at any moment when the particle is moving along that orbit, it's not just this, there are basically two competing forces over here. One force is this attractive force that's trying to pull it in. The other is the centrifugal force that's pulling out. And because the angular momentum stays unchanged, it remains unchanged, and you're basically changing R, maybe increasing R by a small amount. I think, is it increased? Change, doesn't matter. Okay, chalo, we'll consider it's increased. That will also impact the velocity in a way and will also change the centrifugal force, right? So let's look at what happens over here. We know basically MVR is a constant, right? So by that logic, your delta V by V basically is your delta R by R, technically minus delta R by R. So if you increase your delta R, your V goes from, originally suppose its speed was, has its speed been mentioned? Speed has not been mentioned. Chalo, if its speed was V0, it now becomes V0 minus delta R by R. Okay, oh, sorry. V0 1 minus delta R by R, my mistake. Okay. And then you go into that, what does the new speed, what does the new centrifugal force become? Because the centrifugal force is mv square by r, right? So the new centrifugal force would become m into, let's call it v0, 1 minus delta r by r, v0 square I'll put, delta r by r whole square, divided by r is now r0 into 1 plus delta r by r. You can apply a sort of binomial approximation here to send it on top and make it mv0 square by r. You will have 1 minus delta r by r whole cube. The reason it goes to whole cube is because you send it over there with a power and then you bring it in. You don't actually, don't write it as whole cube. Write it as 3. Directly apply binomial approximation. You can even say it this way, bring the 2 in, and then 1 plus delta r by r to the power minus 1, bring that in, you'll get another factor over there. So once you have that minus 3 delta r by r, now you know what is the new centrifugal force. And the new centripetal and the new attractive force is just going to be, that Fr is going to be R0 1 plus delta r by r, basically square over here. Oops. Which is k by r0 square into 1 minus 2 delta r by r. And the restoring force that you eventually have is basically the difference between the two. You have Fr minus, this is FCF, I'll say, minus FCF. This is the restoring force. When you went by this method, you were only considering this, you are ignoring the impact of this. If you plug them in correspondingly, you will have a 2 delta r by r from here. You will have, because you're subtracting, that would be plus 3 delta r by r. The net effect that you will get would be of delta r by r. Plug it in, then it's a basic calculation beyond it. I'm not going into it. This is where most students made a mistake though. So I think it's option A, was it? Yes, it is option A. Again, I'll leave the calculations for you. It's mainly the trick about how to solve. So we'll focus more on those things. Alright, next question we have is, this is multi-correct. It says there are two isosceles prism. Multi-correct, right? Yeah, statement says that. By the way, this year in multi-correct, it was +4 minus 1, which was surprising, I would say. You did not expect that. Anyway, there are two isosceles prisms, 1 and 2, with their prism angles A1 and A2 and refractive indices N1 and N2. This is the diagram here. As shown in the figure, the faces A1, B1, A2, B2 are parallel to each other. These two faces parallel to each other and perpendicular to the mirror. If a ray of light is incident on the face A1, C1, emerges from the face A2, C2 on that side, emerges from A2, C2 on the other side, then the correct statement is our what? Now first statement says if both prisms are at minimum deviation condition, then n1 by n2 is sine of a1 by 2 and a2 by divided by sine of a2 by 2. Let's focus on this question. You see, in this setup, if it is in minimum, first and foremost, I know under all conditions E1 is equal to, this is not a good color, I think this should be good. E1 is equal to I2 under all conditions. Why? Because if I were to draw a normal, you can see purely by symmetry. If you even want to construct the triangle, construct a triangle, you'll get it as the same. Now, when suppose first prism 1 is at minimum deviation, then this is suppose case A, then I know I1 is equal to E1, and it is given that the other prism is also at minimum deviation, which means I2 is equal to E2. Now, since this condition is always valid, that essentially makes I1 is equal to I2 is equal to E1 is equal to E2. We got that sorted. Now, what is the angle of refraction inside each of them? Now, we know in minimum deviation conditions, the angle of refraction inside each of them, this one, suppose R1, R2, so on and so forth, we'll call it R1, and this one is R2. So, R1 is equal to A1 by 2. Jesus. And R2 by the way is in this prism over here. R2 is basically again A2 by 2. Minimum deviation criteria. Once I have that, then I can apply the Snell's law in any of them. So I know sine I1, I'll do it all here because the next page is needed for the other ones. Sine I1 by sine R1, which by the way is A1 by 2, that is N1. Same way I know sine of I2 divided by sine of A2 by 2, because sine of R2, that is N2. Once you take them, remember I1 is equal to I2, take a ratio of both of them, I1 and I2, sine I1 and sine I2 will cancel because I1 is equal to I2 in this case, and you will eventually arrive at getting this answer as correct. Next statement says, if the prism 2 is at minimum deviation condition, then sine I1 is N2 sine A2 by 2. So prism 2 is in minimum deviation, but prism 1 is not in minimum deviation. In this criteria, with prism 2 and its minimum deviation condition, I know this criteria will still apply. I2 is equal to E2. This would still apply. Now, if I2 is equal to, okay, let's do it in this page. In the second case, we know E1 is still equal to E2. That's always going to be true for geometry. I know I2 is equal to E2 because there is minimum deviation in second prism. But because there is no minimum deviation in prism 1, I1 is not equal to E1. Now, once that happens, that immediately establishes that I1 is not equal to I2. Why? Because if I1 is not equal to E1 and E1 is equal to I2, that means for sure I1 is not equal to I2. Just by that inequality, swap out E1 with I2, that's it, you get that relation. Now, we look at prism 2 over here. Just look at this equation. Okay, this equation would still hold, right, in this case. So sine of I2 would be equal to N2 times sine of A2 by 2. The question that they have given is the same, N2 sine of A2 by 2, but they have put sine of I1, meaning they have swapped out I2 by I1. I know that cannot be true. In the previous case, it might have been. Here, I know for sure it is not true because I2 is not equal to I1, that is established. So option B is definitely incorrect. Next, we have option C. It says both prisms 1 and 2 are thin and at minimum deviation condition with the angles of deviation delta M1 and delta M2 respectively. Then theta is equal to delta M1 by 2 n minus 1 and delta M by 2. Now over here, see what the angle of the prism is. What is that angle? Theta. This angle is A1 by 2 and this angle is A2 by 2. And this theta, if you look at it, if I were to draw straight down, you see this angle is just this A1 by 2, this angle is just this A2 by 2. So theta basically for me A2 by 2, right? Now because these are thin prisms, I know the deviation delta 1 is equal to, oh, these are called n, not mu's. Let's just write it. N1 minus 1 times A1 minus 1 times A2. So A1 is basically delta 1 by N1 minus 1, and over here A2 is equal to delta 2 by N2 minus 1. We got that down. Take it and plug them in here. So I have A1 is delta 1 by, there's this 2 N1 minus 1 plus delta 2 by 2 N2 minus 1. So option C also comes out to be correct. Lastly, we look at option D. If prism 1 is at minimum deviation, then sine of I2 is N1 sine of A1 by 2. Now, if prism 2 is at minimum deviation, that means, prism 1 is at minimum deviation, that means I1 is equal to E1, right? E1 is still equal to I2, but I2 is not equal to E2 because prism 2 is not at minimum deviation. This will have no impact in this because I1 is equal to E1 and E1 is equal to I2. That means I1 is equal to I2. We got that down. Look at this equation, that will hold true always. So sine I1 is equal to N1 sine of A1 by 2. A1 by 2. Now, if I1 is equal to I2, just swipe out I1 for I2 and you will arrive at option D. That is correct. That is always true. Okay? Chalo, we'll move on to our next question. This is A, C and D. This was a heavy one, also time consuming. This is why I said, there are questions like if your preparation is really good and if I give you like free hand, take like 2 hours to solve, there's a possibility that a top level student might be able to solve everything. But in 1 hour, I think it's very difficult. Acha, next one says, in a vacuum chamber, a particle of charge 1 microcoulomb, mass 1 milligram is projected with a velocity I cap plus 2 j cap meters per second from the xz plane at a time t equal to 0 in an electric field of I cap. At t equal to 0.2 seconds, the electric field is switched off and a magnetic field of 6 j cap Tesla is switched on. Acceleration due to gravity is minus 10 j cap. Correct options are over here. They're basically looking for the vertical distance. So basically the y coordinate, because from xz plane they are looking for, and the radius of the trajectory. Okay. So you're looking for the y coordinate majorly. First, what happens? You see, initially this had initial speed, all right. You had the electric field and you had the gravity. So what was the acceleration initially? Initially the acceleration was QE by m plus g vector, right? QE by m is what? Q by m is basically 1 because 10 to the power minus 6 and 10 to the power minus 6. So electric field was just 1, so I cap, and g was minus 10 j cap. That was the acceleration in the very beginning. Under that acceleration, if this was my initial speed, what does my final speed become? So Vi is I cap plus 2 j cap minus AT. So T is what? 0.2, right? 0.2, okay. So 0.2 I cap, 0.2 I cap plus minus 10 j cap. Okay, minus 10 into j cap. 10 into j cap, right? Oh, 10 into, this is 2 j cap. Because 0.2 into 10. 2 j cap. Hey, it's plus. Why did I put a minus? So over here, what do I get? I get this 2 j cap cancels out. I have a I cap plus 0.2 I cap, which will make it just 1.2 I cap. Just the x component of the velocity survives at the end of 0.2 seconds. Now at the end of 0.2 seconds, you turn it off. You turn off the electric field. Once you turn off the electric field, you now also turn on the magnetic field. Magnetic field you see is directed in the j cap direction. Now if the velocity is in the I cap and the magnetic field is in the j cap, the force it applies is in the k cap direction, right? Since most of these are dealing with the y coordinate, I know the magnetic force will have no impact on the y coordinate. Got it? But this gravity will still have an impact on the y coordinate because you have the j cap component over there. Now before we get into that, one more thing we will have to calculate, which is at the end of this 0.2 seconds, what was its y coordinate? What was the y coordinate at the end of this 0.2 seconds? So S is equal to, say if I go with ut plus half at square, just for the y coordinate I am doing, Sy I'll call it. Ut is 2 into 0.2 minus 10 into 0.2 into 0.2, right? Yeah, there's a half also, half at square. Minus because your acceleration is minus 10 j cap. Remember, electric field creates no force. I'm just dealing with that. 10, this is 2, that cancels with this, so 0.4, so 0.2. At the 0.2 second point, already y displacement is this, its velocity is this. We got that down. Now we look into what happens afterwards. Afterwards, the only thing that can impact the y coordinate is just this 10 j cap, because a magnetic field is giving it in the k cap direction, and initial speed of the particle, initial speed, by initial speed I mean from 0.2 seconds onwards, that literally has no j cap component. Alright. So let's start focusing on the equation. So the y coordinate is equal to, we consider the initial moment as literally the moment from 0.2 second on. Okay. So there the initial speed was 0. The time, whatever the time I consider, I'll do t minus 0.2. Why t minus 0.2? Because literally the options are given t value from the starting. But since I am changing my starting point to 0.2 seconds, any time I'll consider as minus 0.2. So basically if 0.3 seconds have passed, that means for me, since the magnetic field has been turned on, it has only been 0.1 seconds. Okay. And then there's the acceleration, which is minus half 10 into t minus 0.2 whole square. Okay. This part is not there, ignore that, get rid of that. Y is equal to 5 minus 5 into t minus 0.2 whole square. Okay. But remember, this is just the y coordinate from the moment that we are considering, like from 0.2 seconds onward, it moves this extra y coordinate. However, it had already moved by 0.2 meter. So the actual y coordinate is this plus 0.2. This is your y coordinate at any time t from the beginning. This is the equation that we want to get to. Remember, multiple correct, you want to get to the most general equation. After that, it's all about plugging the values in, at least a, b and d. You will get just by plugging values in here. You can plug in t equal to 0.3 seconds. If you put t equal to 0.3, this is 0.1. 0.1 square you will get 0.05 minus 0.02. Yes, you will get 0.15, 15 centimeter. Option A is correct. If you put 0.4 seconds, so 0.4 minus 0.2 is 0.2 whole square. If you plug it in, you will arrive at 20 centimeter. Option B is also correct. For option D, the particle will be in XZ plane at t equal to 0.35 second. XZ plane means its y coordinate should be 0. If you put y is equal to 0 and solve for t, your answer would come, I believe, 0.4 seconds or something. 0.4 or 0.8, something like that. You can test it out, but this is basically, I believe, incorrect. Okay. Oh, is this one, option B is also incorrect? Let me check. Let me quickly check. My t is basically 0.4, right? This makes it 0.2 whole square, which is minus 4 into 0.04 plus 0.2. All right, this will just cancel out. It will become 0. In fact, for 0.4 seconds, 0.4 seconds is literally option D. So option B is also incorrect. Option D is also incorrect. Let's look at C. Radius of the trajectory. So radius of the trajectory is controlled by the magnetic field. R is equal to mv by qb. Now thankfully the velocity at which the magnetic field was turned on was already perpendicular to it. So I don't have to worry about it there being extra changes, so on and so forth. That's it. That's enough for me. So over here it is just m by q is again 1. I don't bother about that. Speed is 1.2. Magnetic field is, where is the magnetic field? 6. So this is 0.2. Is it given 20 centimeter? Yes, 20 centimeter. Option C. Okay. Next MSQ says there are two charges. Capital Q1 is equal to small q and capital Q2 is equal to MQ. They are placed at points P1 is A, B and P2 is MA, MB. Respectively in the xy plane where A, B is equal to 0, M is equal to 0, 1. If V1 is the potential at a point in the xy plane due to the charge Q1, V2 is the potential at that point due to the charge Q2. Correct statement for the points at which V1 is equal to V2 in magnitude R. So basically they are looking for the locus. Locus means this x and y coordinate. Now remember, the charges are not kept at the origin. The charges are already kept a little distance away from the origin. So how do you find the locus of those points? Over here, let's say at any point, let's say the charge, try to visualize here, this is your point P1, assume, which is A, B. And let's say this is your point P2, which has a coordinate of MA, MB. Technically, it should not be here. It would be in a straight line. MA, MB would be in a straight line. Should not have drawn it that way. That's factually wrong. It's factually, maybe somewhere around here. Maybe somewhere around here, P2. MA, MB. Now, if I have any coordinate, x, y, think about what is its distance from each of them. Distance from here we can get by distance formula. Basically x minus a whole square root over x minus a whole square plus y minus b whole square. Same way I can get distance formula from here. Why are the distance important? Because the potential created by 1 will be equal to the charge is q, right? kq divided by r1 square. r1 is basically this distance and r2 is this distance. So r1 square would be what? kq divided by root over of x minus a whole square plus y minus b whole square. We got that down? And potential V2 is equal to k into, over there the q is m into q divided by root over of x minus ma whole squared plus y minus mb whole squared. Right? It is given both of them are equal in magnitude. So once we plug it in, it is kq whole squared plus y minus b whole squared, that is equal to kmq by root over of x minus ma whole squared plus y minus mb whole squared. KQs are out. Square both sides, cross multiply. You have x square minus 2xma plus m square a square. Basically this cross multiplied there. Plus y square minus 2myb plus m square b square is equal to, when you send it over there, m square multiplied with m square into x square plus m square a squared 2m square xa plus m square y square plus m square b square minus 2m square yb. This is what we get. big long equation. Some stuff can be cancelled out. M square A square can be taken out. M square B square is there, right? That should be taken out. That goes out. What do we have here? We can take the x square over to this side. I will have an x square 1 minus m square. Basically this x square m square brought here. Same way I'll have a y square 1 minus m square. And these terms we send over to that side. So I can take 2mxa, 2mxa, I send it over. So I'll have 1 minus m, 2myb, again 1 minus m. ठीक है? A lot of work. X square plus y square 1 minus m square, that is 1 minus m times 2m ax plus by. 1 minus m cancels with this to give you 1 plus m. And I think we have it there, right? Yep, I think we have it there. X square plus y square into 1 plus m, that is equal to 2m into ax plus by. This is the relation you have to get to. Rigorous calculation, rigorous maths, but this is the equation you have to get to. Why? Because once you get to this equation, you see, you might feel it's so much hard work, but that's the thing about this question. You have to do hard work to get to the general relation, because then you just keep plugging different values of m for the 4 options. Just plug in different values of m here, you'll already get the equations as it is directly. So instead of putting hard work like bit by bit for every option, do the hard work once. That's why I try to always get to a general relation. Plug in values at the last step in multi-correct. So A, B, C are the correct ones. Here you can plug in the values and check. Next one over here, consider an electric dipole comprising of 2 charges plus q and minus q, each with a mass small m, separated by a fixed distance d, initially a rest with dipole moment pointing along I cap. Uniform electric field is turned on at a time t equal to 0 and is turned off at t equal to tf when the dipole moment makes an angle theta f with I cap. Neglect any sources of energy loss. Correct options are what? So over here, basically you have a dipole placed in an electric field, so it will experience a torque. And because of that torque, it eventually builds up its kinetic energy. But it's going to be rotational kinetic energy. So first and foremost, center of mass is deflected towards the J cap. No. This is an incorrect option. Why? Because it's a uniform electric field in which the dipole is kept. It feels no force. It will only feel a torque. Next thing they are asking, magnitude of the final angular velocity. Now how do you get to the magnitude of the final angular velocity? You see, find the total work done. It is turning from that 90 degree. Your dipole was basically in I cap direction and your electric field was in J cap. Basically dipole was I cap, electric field was J cap. And it turns. And it is said it turns up till an angle theta f. So obviously there's a torque applied till that angle theta f. Find the work done by that torque. We know torque is Pe sin theta. Pe sin theta. So work done, if I go with tau d theta, by tau d theta, think about the limits. Now over here I believe is where most students made a mistake. They are perpendicular, right? So if you put Pe sin theta, d theta, initial position was that they were perpendicular to each other, because this was in I cap, that was in J cap. So it's pi by 2, no problem. Next it is said that it turns at an angle Tf, the dipole moment makes an angle theta f. So students have put theta f here, and that is where the mistake is. Because this is why you should read a question very carefully. It says it makes an angle theta f with the I cap direction. Basically, if this is your I cap, this is your J cap, your dipole at that moment makes theta f with this. But when we apply this Pe sin theta, what does theta represent? Theta represents the angle between the dipole and the electric field. when the dipole is making theta f with I cap, it's actually making an angle of pi by 2 minus theta f over here. That is your limit, not theta f. It is pi by 2 minus theta f. ठीक है? Focus here. Don't bother about what rumors are spreading. ठीक है? Over here, then you just do the integration. You'll get PE cos theta, basically minus PE cos theta if you want to. So you can put PE. If you put the limits, pi by 2 is going to go 0. Cos of pi by 2 minus theta will be left. Theta f, by the way, is left, which is just PE sin theta f. P, by the way, is charge multiplied with the distance between them. You can get it. And once you have the work done, you can just put work done is equal to half I omega square. What is the moment of inertia? You have two charges, mass m. So moment of inertia is about their center of mass. So it is I will be equal to md square by 2. Basically md square by 4 plus md square by 4. Plug them in, you can solve for omega over here. Okay? Not getting into the calculations, but if I remember correctly, option B will come correct. Next, same thing over here. You want to find the change in kinetic energy when it turns by this. Just find the work done. That's the change in kinetic energy. Just that theta f, swap out with pi by 3, you get the answer. Next thing we have is for theta f is equal to pi by 4, dipole rotates around its center of mass with a constant angular velocity after t equal to tf. Obviously true, because after t greater than tf, there is literally the electric field is turned off. So there is no torque. No torque means no angular acceleration. Whatever angular velocity it built up, it will just maintain that. That's it. Okay. Next. Oops, there's a tiny diagram here, but the diagram is not that important. 10 moles of an ideal monoatomic gas initially in a state A. I hope you can see the diagram. There's a state A over here, right at this top corner. T is 27 degrees Celsius, enclosed in a metal cylinder, volume V0, fitted with a frictionless piston. The gas is suddenly compressed to a state B with a volume V0 by 3. Keeping the piston stationary, the cylinder is submerged in a water bath of temperature 11 degrees Celsius until the gas reaches the temperature of the water bath, which is denoted as state C. Okay? Finally, while still in the water bath, the piston is brought slowly to its initial position, which is denoted as a state F. If R is a universal Gauss constant, correct options, so on. Schematic PV diagram over here. So let's look at it. First, what was happening? It was fitted with a frictionless piston. Gas is suddenly compressed to a volume V0 by 3. Suddenly compressed basically means an adiabatic process. So you see there's that curve, and you already see there's a difference between the curve AB and the curve CF. So curve AB has more slope. Okay, it's turning sharper. It's becoming steeper. That means it's an adiabatic, so fine, works for us. Then keeping the piston stationary, the cylinder is submerged and the temperature basically cools. If the piston is stationary, the volume is kept constant. So you see from B to C, volume is constant, no problem. After that, it's still in the water bath. Now the piston is brought slowly to its initial position. Slowly to its initial position while maintaining that 11 degrees Celsius means it's an isothermal process. So you see again that curved line, it's not a straight line, it's a curved line, but it has less slope than the AB line, the adiabatic line. So that is fine. So this diagram is correct. Next thing, change in the internal energy in going from state A to B is how much? So from state A to state B, change in internal energy is always, so one thing, what is temperature at A? 27 degrees Celsius, which is basically 300 Kelvin. The volume changes from V0 to V0 by 3. So adiabatic process, I know T V to the power gamma minus 1 is a constant. So T0, V0 to the power gamma minus 1 is equal to T V to the power gamma minus 1. So the temperature, in fact I should say TA and TB. A, B. So TB is what we are looking for. TB is equal to TA, which is 300, multiplied with VA was what V0, VB was what V0 by 3, to the power gamma minus 1. It's a monoatomic gas, so gamma is 5 by 3. 5 by 3 minus 1 is a 2 by 3. That is 300 times 3 to the power 2 by 3, which is 9 to the power 1 by 3, whose value is given to us as 2.08. You can calculate the TB here. That will be equal to 208 into this is 624. Okay, we got TB. Now, once we have TA and TB, we can find the change in internal energy, because change in internal energy delta U is always NCV delta T. So, if we go with NCV delta T, N is 10 moles, CV is a 3 by 2 R, multiplied with the delta T, basically it's 624 to this, that's a 324. Plug them in, put the values in, you will get option B also correct. Alright. Next, the net change in the internal energy in the whole process is minus 240. So, whole process means from A to finally F. You don't have to calculate anything, because you know in A it was this, and in F it has the same temperature as the water. As the water is submerged in that water, so it's 11 degree. So, what is the, in part, this is part A, sorry, not part A, part B. Sorry, part B. In part C, your delta U is NCV, and what is your temperature? Temperature difference is just 27 to 11. You can keep, you don't even have to convert to Kelvin. That is 10 into 3 by 2 R into 60. That will come, this is basically 11 minus 27, I did a mistake, because you go final minus initial. So, it is minus 240 R, option C is also correct. Option D says the pressure and temperature of the state B are 2.8 times the atmospheric pressure and 624 Kelvin. So, this is fine, temperature at B is fine. The pressure, how do we go for the pressure? Again, it's an adiabatic process. So, I know PAVA to the power gamma is PBVB to the power gamma. So, pressure at point B is PA. PA is what? PA we keep as PA, no problem. PA VA by VB, that is V0 by V0 by 3. And this will stay as 5 by 3. So, it is PA 3 to the power 5 by 3. Now, obviously 3 to the power 2 by 3 was 2.08. 5 by 3 will definitely not be 2.08. So, option D is incorrect. Okay, next I think we have moved into numerical answer type. Let's solve these. This says two thin wires, wire 1 of diameter 0.65 and wire 2 of diameter D are given. To obtain the value of D, the diameters of the two wires are measured with a screw gauge. The screw gauge has a pitch of 0.5 millimeter and there are 100 divisions on the circular scale. The smallest division on the linear scale is 0.5 and the table shows the readings of linear scale and circular scale for the measurements. Value of D is how much? Now basically it is given for two wires. Thing is, wire 1's actual diameter is already provided. So what is the use of this? The use of this is to try to get what is the zero error of this instrument. Because this is the true value. If we can get the measured value and the difference, I know the zero error. So first, what is the least count? Least count is pitch 0.5 divided by 100. 0.005 millimeter. Okay, we got right. We got right. Now let's look at the measured reading of the first wire. First wire is 0.5 plus over there 42 into 0.005, which makes it 42 is basically 21, right? So 42 into this that's 0.5 is 21, that's good, that is 0.21, that makes it 0.71. Okay, did we do it correct? Yeah, I think we did it correct. 0.5, okay, we did correct. That is L1. Now you see, actual measurement is this 0.65. So what is the zero error? Zero error is L1 minus L01. What the actual measured value, what the actual value is, which is 0.71 minus 0.65, which is 0.06. and this is a positive zero error. This is a positive zero error over here. Now let's look at the case 2 for wire 2. For wire 2, what is my reading that comes? That is 1.5 plus 95 multiplied with 0.005. Okay? 95 multiplied with 0.005 is basically 47.5, 0.475, 475, which makes it, this is L2. But remember, there is a positive zero error. To get to the corrected value, I have to do L2 minus that zero error, which is 1.975 minus 0.06, which makes it 1.915. That is the answer. It's in micrometer. We have to give in micrometers. This was in millimeters. So please be careful of those things. That can give you an error over here. You solve and it will give you an error if you don't put it in the right way. It's a numerical answer type. Next one says there's a single slit diffraction experiment, slit of width 0.016 plus minus 0.002 millimeter, used to measure the wavelength of a monochromatic light source. In the diffraction pattern, the angular distance between the central maximum and the first minimum is measured to be 2 degree plus minus 40 degree. The value of the fractional error in the measurement of the wavelength is how much? This is kind of easy. You know your first minimum is given by a sine theta is equal to lambda. What am I looking for? We are looking for the fractional error in the wavelength. So what we do here, first we apply an ln, that is ln of a plus ln of sine theta. Because we are looking for fractional error, it's easier to apply this because then I'll get a d lambda by lambda. That will give me a dA by a. And over here I will get, if I differentiate it, I'll get a 1 by sine theta first. Then by chain rule I'll get a cos theta. And then I'll get the d theta. So my d lambda by lambda, the fractional change in wavelength is dA by a plus cot theta d theta. Now everything is already given to you. Your dA is this, your a value is this, your cot theta you can get, since your sine of 2 degrees given, calculate what your cot theta would be. Put the cot theta. Be careful with what you put for the d theta. Don't put d theta as 40. You have to put d theta in terms of degree because this was in terms of degree. So what do you put over there? You put it as 40 by 60 of a degree. That's basically 2 by 3. That is the value that you plug in. Or convert it to radians if that feels more comfortable to you. Okay, because it's there, convert it to radians. That's the easiest way to proceed. Alright. Next one. It says as shown in the figure, a ray AB of unpolarized light enters from water of refractive index NW is equal to 4 by 3 into a medium of refractive index NP is 4 by root 3. After passing through a glass plate of refractive index NG is equal to 1.5 and a layer of water. Again, there's a layer of water. At a particular incident angle I, the reflected ray CD is polarized in the direction as shown in the figure. The value of I in degrees is going to be what? Now you see the entire polarization thing is going to happen only here. Why so? Because over here you see, if light ray were to be polarized, if over here a complete polarization were to happen, the polarized light would have gone from here itself. The only light ray that would degree of polarization that would have survived over here would have been these, because the other one would have reflected from here. So I know for sure here it's not hitting Brewster's angle. Over here there can't be, because it's going from a denser medium to a rarer medium. So there it can't happen. The only possible place where it can happen is over here. That is only because again after that it cannot happen. There's no scope for it to happening, that it will come out over there. That means I only need to worry about this value and this value. Only I need to worry about that. Now I know whatever angle of incidence it enters here, it will have the same angle of incidence at this point. Because basically when it comes out, you can even think about it like angle of emergence is equal to angle of incidence. Think of it like a glass slab. So that is also I, this is also I. So They're basically looking for that I, it's basically that I only. Tan of I, that's the Brewster's angle. Brewster's angle means just the ratio of the refractive index over there, tan of the Brewster's angle. That is 4 by root 3 divided by 4 by 3. 4 cancels, you have a root 3. So your I is 60 degree. Very easy question, very quick question. There are questions like in multiple select which were lengthy, but these are where you like make up for that time as much as you can. I'll still consider this a quite lengthy paper, but there are places to make up for it. Acha, this shows in the figure resistance of a galvanometer can be found by half deflection method. Here the resistance R2 is adjusted such that when the key K is closed, the deflection in the galvanometer becomes half of the value as compared to when key K is open. Half deflection is obtained at R2 is equal to 4 ohm, and thus the galvanometer resistance is found to be 6 ohm. In this half deflection condition, the current through the resistor is how much? It's actually very simple. You just have to be careful about one thing, that when the galvanometer resistance, galvanometer deflection is half, that means current passing through the galvanometer becomes half of what it originally was. So originally the current that passed through the galvanometer, I1, that was basically 10 volts divided by this R1 and this galvanometer were basically in series. So R1 plus galvanometer resistance is 6. In the second case, when you're looking at this, in the second case, the net equivalent of this setup, the net equivalent of this setup is how much? That is 6 and that one is 4, right? R2 is 4, yeah. So 6 into 4 by 6 plus 4, that's a 2.4. So it is 10 divided by R1 plus 2.4. Now remember, this is not the current passing through the galvanometer. This is the main current that flows in the wire. Over here, how much does galvanometer get? It gets equal to the other resistance divided by sum of the resistance, which means 4 ohm divided by 4 plus 6 ohm. Now, according to the question, this is the galvanometer resistance in the second case. I2 is basically, 2I2 is basically equal to I1 because it's half of that. Plug them in, solve for R1, you'll be able to get 694.44. Okay, not getting into the calculation. Acha, next one, this I'm actually not going to solve. I believe this is pretty straightforward over here. It's given new system of units, mass, length. This is like literally a JEE mains level question where you want to find that if these are the units, what would be the value of this SI unit for this, get its dimensional form, then it's just the mains question. You have m1 by m2 to the power a, l1 by l2 to the power b, t1 by t2 to the power c. I'm not spending time here. It's easy to get this. You can even convert it to speed, like multiply a mu naught in the numerator and denominator. If you do that, you can take mu naught square out as mu naught, and down below you can have 1 by root over mu naught epsilon naught, which is the dimensions of speed. Can go that way, makes it a little simpler to get to it. But besides that, it's just follow the mains method. The answer would come 25. I'm not solving this too. This is mains. Acha, this one says a container of height 2 meters is a paragraph type. Length 2 meter, breadth 1 meter is made up of insulating vertical walls and 2 large area horizontal plates. Basically, they're continuing on all the way till infinity. The container is partitioned into 2 equal chambers with a thin insulating vertical wall. Partition wall contains a small hole at the base. Area is given to us near its bottom edge. Initially, the hole is closed and the left chamber of the container is completely filled with a liquid of dielectric constant 115 and the right chamber is empty. At time t equal to 0, hole is opened and liquid flows from left chamber to the right. In both the chambers, the space above the liquid has this, so this is empty space is this, and is maintained at atmospheric pressure. Schematic of the diagram, t greater than 0 is shown, given acceleration due to gravity is shown. So what you do is basically, as it is filling up, apply Bernoulli's theorem between your point over here. Let's say at any moment it has come down by a distance x. If this has come down by a distance x, because the cross-section area of this and this are the same, if this comes down by x, this should also climb up by exactly x. Right? Now apply a Bernoulli's theorem between this point and a point just outside over here. This point I know the speed is 0. This point, let's say the speed is v1. That's what I'm trying to find. At this point, what is the pressure? Consider the pressure as some P naught. Over here, the pressure is there, P naught, plus because it's already at a depth x, it has the density rho gx pressure over here. Okay, so let's get to it. We have for this point 1, the pressure is P naught plus half rho into the speed is 0, so 0 square, plus what is the height of that point? Height of that point is 2 minus x. That is equal to, at this point we have the pressure is P naught plus rho gx. Because this has a layer of water above, or the fluid above it of a height x, so it exerts a pressure at that depth. It has some speed over there, and its height is rho g into 0, because height of that point is 0. Once we got that, get rid of the p naughts, no use here. I'm solving for the v square. This is 0, that's a 0 there, this is a 0, goes away. Take the rows out. So v square by 2 is equal to 2g minus x, 2g minus gx, this goes over there, minus gx, which is 2g into 1 minus x. Okay? So v is equal to root over of 4 into 4g 1 minus x. That's the speed. That's the speed with which fluid comes out. Now once I know the speed at which fluid comes out, I can actually get the volume flow rate, which is just the area of cross section. Let's say the area of cross section here is A. Area of the opening is small a. Then that is A into V at any moment. And the volume flow rate is whatever is the area of that container multiplied with the rate at which the x is changing. So A into dx dt. That is A refers to the area of the opening, capital A refers to the area of that container from the top. Root over of, thus once you have that, then you integrate for time, basically it's given, right, time t equal to 500 seconds, you can get what is the value of x, how much level it fills up there. Your answer will come out to be 1.25. Okay. The second part of the question is actually just a continuation. Once you figure out that it climbs up by 1.25 meters, okay, it has a height 2 meters, so it climbs up by 1.25, means it comes down by 1.25. Now you think about the capacitor. Originally there was this capacitor completely filled with a dielectric. This was just an empty capacitor. Now this is a capacitor whose height is 0.75, like 1.25 is empty space, 0.75 is a capacitor, basic capacitor with a dielectric, and over here 1.25 is filled with a dielectric and 0.75 is empty. So find them, then both of them are in parallel, get the equivalent. It's straightforward after that. Okay. Next, this I think is the last paragraph type question. Circular disc radius 0.2 meter, mass 1 kg, pivoted at its topmost point, such that it can rotate freely around C in the xy plane. One second. Pivoted at the topmost point so that it can rotate freely in the xy plane as shown. Initially, when the disc is at rest, a particle of mass 20 gram is traveling along the negative x direction, comes from here, hits it 100 meters per second, hits the circumference of the disc at point P. After collision, the particle moves along the negative y direction at a speed of 90 meters per second. After collision, disc starts to rotate around the point C. Of course, maximum change in the height is what? So this is first a conservation of angular momentum, and you have to conserve angular momentum about this point. Why that point? Because don't try to do about the center. The reason being, if you consider about the center, this hinge over here might apply a tangential force, and that tangential force will ensure there's an external torque and you can't conserve angular momentum. But if you take about this point, then any tangential force over there is passing through the axial point. As a result, you don't have to think about that. That will contribute zero torque to it. And then you can conserve angular momentum for the system. In the diagram, if I had to draw it out, okay, if I were to draw it out, suppose from here, and this is basically here. So what is this distance? This distance is, up till here is r, and this is another, if this is r, this is r root 2, right? So this distance is r plus r root 2, whereas this distance is just r root 2. We got that setup. In that setup, now you try to find what is the net momentum before collision. Before collision, only this m had a momentum, angular momentum. It was m into v1 m into v1. What was its speed? Its speed was 100 into what was its perpendicular distance from axis point? It was r into 1 plus root 2. Finally, after the collision, what is the angular momentum because of that m? That m is moving down now with a speed of 90 meters per second. And what is its perpendicular distance? Its perpendicular distance is r root 2 now. Remember, both of them represent rotation in the same axis, so it stays as positive only. M into, that's 90 meters per second, is r root 2. But now, this disk also starts rotating. So, suppose it develops an angular velocity. Remember, it's going to start rotating about this point with the angular velocity omega. This is a disk, right? So, about this point, it is 3 by 2 mr square. That's the moment of inertia. So, that is I omega 3 by 2 mr square. What is the mass? We'll call it capital M. Disk of this, so can rotate, mass is given 20 grams. Then I'll call it capital M. It's not the same mass. M into r square multiplied with omega. Now you can plug the values in. Again, I'm not going into detailed calculation here. You can solve for the omega. Once you get the omega from here, you're solving for omega. Once you get the omega, then you think about the change in the potential energy because of this kinetic energy. So this center of mass, let's say it's basically going to turn like this. They're asking what change in height. So basically half I omega square is equal to mgh. Once you get the omega from there, plug it in, you can solve for it. Here you get the kinetic energy. Again, use I as 3 by 2 mr square over there. Please don't do conservation of energy before. So you can think half mv square initially to over here. Please don't do, because it's an inelastic collision over here. Some energy would be lost. You can conserve energy after the collision has happened. Don't conserve energy before collision and later on in the rising state. Okay, so you can solve for that. You will get 0.15, not doing the calculation here. And in the second part, that is the loss in energy, straightforward. Over here, you know the initial kinetic energy is half small m into 100 square, half mv square. In the final case, it is half small m into 90 square, because that still has a kinetic energy. And along with that, it also has this rotational kinetic energy. So you subtract. Initial is just, I'll do it here, half m into 100 square minus half m into 90 square minus you have the half I omega square basically from there, or mgh. If you have solved for h, you have the mgh. So that basically would be your delta U, the change in energy. Okay, got it? I think we are done with the physics part here. So the physics paper, like I said in the very beginning, it was quite time consuming. There were a few questions where you could do quick, but I can understand in the heat of the exam and with so many tough questions coming up, it's a bit difficult to keep your cool. But I hope you people have done well. We'll very soon be coming with the detailed analysis about what your predicted scores and ranks should be. So please stay tuned, turn on your notifications, and now I think we have Suresh sir here who would take over the chemistry section. Sir, welcome sir.
Hello sir.
Hello sir. How was the chemistry paper, sir?
It's well balanced and it is moderate to difficulty level.
As compared to last year?
As compared to last year, it is moderate to difficult level, and students can score, but lengthy calculations and tricky calculations.
Same sir for physics.
Same physics also.
Same sir.
Okay.
Over to you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Hello, my dear students. How did you do your JEE Advanced Examination? So let's start here. JEE Advanced Examination Paper 2 Chemistry. The first question comes from the electrochemistry based on Debye-Huckel rule. So you just tell me your opinion, how you felt it and how you do it. Well, so moving ahead, the first question it is given at 300 Kelvin, the molar conductivities of the aqueous solutions of 3 salts at 2 different concentrations are given. And NaNO3, NaCl, AgNO3. And the conductivity of saturated solution is given, and that is 1.40 into 10 power minus 6 at 300 Kelvin. And if the solubility in water at 300 Kelvin is given as x mole per liter, then log x to the power minus 1. So it's a simple logic. How do you calculate? I just want to take this particular question into 3 segments. How do you calculate the solubility? So I just want to take this calculation into, it is a saturated solution. Whenever it is a saturated solution, we have to carefully take molar conductance at infinite dilution is equal to K into 1000 by solubility. So if you know the molar conductance at infinite dilution, that is called limiting molar conductance, you can calculate the solubility is equal to K into 1000 by limiting molar conductance. Now the key point is limiting molar conductance you have to calculate. So this has to be calculated. So to calculate this limiting molar conductance, you have to take the strong electrolytes. NaNO3 is given, AgNO3 is given, NaCl is given. Okay. Now from there, AgNO3 you can calculate by taking out limiting molar conductance of AgNO3 plus limiting molar conductance of NaCl, limiting molar conductance of NaNO3. So now by using this data, we can calculate limiting molar conductance of this. So by using this data means, how do you get this? So this is from, you can calculate by simply by taking Debye-Huckel-Ansager equation. It is said that molar conductance is equal limiting molar conductance minus B root C. Molar conductance at a given concentration, limiting molar conductance minus B root C. You can calculate this for all these 3 electrolytes. So if you do so this for all these 3 electrolytes, you can say limiting molar conductance of this 1 minus limiting molar conductance of this B root C2 minus C1. So you can write this and you can apply for this NaNO3, NaCl and AgNO3. So B is equal to root C2 minus root C1. So we got the values for limiting molar conductance for these 3 by using this constant and put it here. So from this we can calculate this. Now for this, for NaNO3 you can calculate, and you can calculate for NaCl and for AgNO3. So for NaNO3, so the values are given here, 1 minus 2, that is 111 minus 101. Concentrations are given 0.04, root 0.04 minus 0.01, and you are going to get, by solving this 121 you are going to get. So limiting molar conductance you can take it here, molar conductance plus B root C. You can take this, it is going to be 100 and molar conductance you got it 100 plus molar conductance you got it as 111 plus 100 into its concentration 0.1. On doing so, you will be getting the value as 129. So similarly, for the others you can calculate it is 121. Similarly, for molar conductance, same way you can calculate it is coming to be 190. It is going to be 127 and here it is going to be 137. So the formula is available for us and put it here AgNO3 you are going to get it is going to be 134. Plus and NaCl is going to be 127 minus it is going to be 121 and doing so you are going to get in doing so you are going to get 140. Directly put this 140 over here. Specific conductivity it is given as 1.4 into 10 raised negative 6, 1.4 into 10 raised negative 6 into 1000 by 140. On simplifying you are going to get 10 raised negative 5 and the answer supposed to be given here. This solubility we got is log 10 power x minus power 1 and log 10 power minus 1 is equal to log 10 power minus 5 to the power 1. So on doing so you are going to get 5 is the answer for this question. So C is the 5 is the answer for this question. Hope you understood this. And moving so, this is a direct application of Debye-Huckel-Onsager equation. Debye-Huckel-Onsager equation and it is from electrochemistry. And next moving ahead, here is the correct order inorganic chemistry, chemical bonding, bond lengths. And the correct order of NO bond angles of NO2 plus, NO2, NO3 minus and NO2 minus. So you can directly take it is from NO2 plus, it is going to be 180 and NO2, it is odd electron species, bacho. You are going to get the bond angle nearly it is coming to be 134 degrees, here 180 degrees and NO3 minus it is going to be N it is going to be exactly 120 and NO2 minus it is coming to be 115. So based on that we can go ahead with NO2 is greater than NO2 plus is greater than NO2 134 and NO2 minus 115 and NO3 is 120. So you are going to get the option as B is the correct answer for this question. So like that it is an inorganic chemistry, it is easy point of view. You can do this and if you could able to answer out of 18 questions in chemistry, if you could able to do at least 12 to 14 questions, definitely you can get into the IIT JEEs. So this time it is quite fortunate people can understand and can do this. And let us talk about A natural rubber, what is a natural rubber? Polyisoprene is a natural rubber. On complete ozonolysis, it gives a compound of X as a major product, and X gives a positive iodoform test and tolerance test as well, that is a given data. And X on heating with aqueous sodium hydroxide gives rise Y as a major product and Y is. So let's see what is a polyisoprene. So this is your isoprene. So let's talk about polyisoprene means. This is your polyisoprene, and this polyisoprene is subjected for ozonolysis, and it is going to give you reductive ozonolysis. Let us break this and let us break this, and you will be getting a product like this. C double bond O and H, and it is going to be CH2 and C double bond O and CH3. Fine. And this is on ozonolysis. This is on treatment with the sodium hydroxide and gives a major product. And it is undergo intramolecular aldol condensation. You will be getting the product like this. In the 5-member ring is formed, which is on heating. You will be getting the structure like this. So I just want to give you option A is the correct answer for this question. If you have any doubts, you can use the chat box and you can ask us. And let us move ahead here. A non-artificial sweetener X is composed of 4-chloro-4-deoxy-alpha-galactose and 1,6-dichloro-1,6-di-deoxy beta-D fructose joined by a glycosidic linkage. Structure of D-galactose is given below. So the structure of this X is supposed to be. If you know how to draw the open chain structure and it's converted into ring structure, the game is done. So let's see. In this aldohexose, fifth carbon is going to make an internal hemiacetal linkage, so that you will be having C double bond O, COH and H and CH2OH and first carbon, second carbon OH and third, fourth carbons and fifth carbon OH comes like this. Fine. And fifth carbon OH is going to make an internal hemiacetal linkage, isn't it? So that's why I just want to say this is the structure. Okay. Now let us make into furanose ring structure. This is the first carbon down, second carbon down, third carbon up, fourth carbon up, and fifth carbon you have CH2OH. So let us make this structure into a ring structure. In this ring structure, it is given in the reverse way. So in this way you can say this is a ring structure. In that ring structure you need to take this OH over here, you need to take this OH over here. So all these structures you can say given OH over here, and this is going to be OH over here. So this is given as 4-chloro, that is given as a 4-chloro. This structure is made with chlorine over here. Now let us talk about a ribose structure, fructose structure. So this fructose structure is going to have the joint like this, and it is the first carbon is dichlorinated, chlorinated, and sixth carbon is going chlorinated, and you are going to have a structure with OH and make a join with from here and from here, that is deoxy. So by looking at this chloro and dichloro, I can say a chloro here and I can see a dichloro over here. So I would like to say this question is the first option is the correct answer for this question. Making a open chain structure into a ring structure is going to be the key factor to understand what exactly the question is. And moving ahead, it's the first order reaction, rate gives rise to the product at a given temperature. So the first order reaction means rate is going to be minus dr by dt is equal to k r to the power 1. Fine. So moving to that, the correct graphical representation for this reaction. So concentration of the product is going to be exponentially increased like this. Concentration is supposed to be exponentially increased like this, but not like this, convex like this. It is given as a concave. It is not correct. And dr by dt magnitude is equal to k, rate of the reactant concentration. So k is a constant, so magnitude of the dr by dt is directly proportional to the reactant concentration, so passes through the origin, correct. And of course, as the reaction proceeds, the rate decreases with the time, so that the product concentration decreases and the rate with respect to that reactant as well as the product is also decreases with respect to time. And C is correct. Talking about the D, and here the structure is supposed to be like this. Product concentration, it is given in a different way. Rate constant. Rate constant with the time. It is given like this. And rate is dependent only temperature. So I mean to say here, this is also correct. So I want to say B, C, D are the correct options for this question. Dear students, this is direct p block elements noble gases. Look at this. Some options are wrongly printed here. I just want to say here. Correct statements about the compound P, Q and R is. So Xe plus F2 into 5:1:5 ratio at 873 Kelvin and 1 bar, you are going to get XeF4. That XeF4 is treated with O2 F2, you are going to get XeF6 and O2. This XeF6 on hydrolysis gives rise HF plus XeO3. Of course, now let us identify. P has a lone pair of electron on its central atom. Yes, XeF4 you can consider. This is a square planar structure. So this is correct. More than one option correct. And Q has a perfect octahedral geometry. It is a distorted octahedral geometry. Q can be a very good fluorinating agent. Yes, XeF6 can react with silicon dioxide, gives rise XeO2F2 plus SiF6. It's a very good fluorine donor. It's a correct. The molecular structure of R is a trigonal pyramidal. XeO3, you are going to see Xe lone pair of electron, and it is going to be fluorine, fluorine, fluorine. It is also correct. Like that, inorganic chemistry is reachable and you can do it. If you have any doubts, please let us know how you did it all. Now, let's focus on one more question here. The correct statement regarding the periodic properties of the elements. The second ionization enthalpy of carbon atom is less than that of boron. Carbon 1s2, 2s2, 2p2. Carbon 1s2, 2s2, 2p1. So, because of p1, ionization 2 of this carbon is less than ionization 2 of boron. A is correct. Increasing order of atomic radii, magnitude of this positive charge increases, size decreases. So, therefore, B is a correct sequence. Under identical conditions, the solid state density of potassium is more than that of sodium. Potassium density is less than that of sodium. Simple logic, because of the presence of d orbitals. Vacant d orbital, suddenly the size is increased. Wrong. And the hydrogen-hydrogen bond is weaker than fluorine-fluorine bond. Bond energies of the fluorine to fluorine is smaller than hydrogen to hydrogen. Therefore, it is not correct. So, correct statements regarding this, only A and B are the correct. Okay. Now, let us move ahead. One more thing. So, it is going to be aniline. I will write it here. Here it is aniline. It is treated with acetic anhydride CH3 CO twice O and concentrated group protected, and if it is treated with concentrated H2SO4 and H1O3 nitration mixture is added. So, now comfortably you can nitrate at para position. Now, this is hydrolyzed to get aniline back and nitro. This is treated with, again, this is your P, and this is treated with NaNO2 HCl. This is your P. Diazotization takes place, N2Cl and NO2. Okay, this is your Q. Now, let us see the other side. This is the cumin, it become a phenol, it is going to be phenol, and the phenol is subjected for NaOH CO2 coal-based reaction, and you are going to get salicylic acid COOH and OH. This is your salicylic acid. So, S is supposed to be salicylic acid, and it is going to be Q and aqueous NaOH. This is your salicylic acid and this is your T actually, and it is said that, so Q on treatment with ethanol generates an aromatic aldehyde. S gives a positive phthalate test. Yes, yes gives a positive phthalate test. Because of phenolic group, it can give positive phthalate test. Fine. And also P is a dinitro compound. No. You have only one nitro group in that, right? and this is not correct, and this is not correct, and the T is a colored compound. You can see this diazo compound, this is your T, and N2Cl and NO2, and you can see OH, COOH, and between these two a diazo compound is going to be formed. Yes, it is correct. T is a colored compound. So for this we can go ahead with option D, and option B are the correct. So if you have any doubts, please let us know. Now it is going to be the correct statement regarding the sugars are given. Specific rotation of L glucose and L fructose are given minus 52.5 plus 92.5 respectively. So it is given as on treatment with HNO3, gluconic acid is oxidized to saccharic acid. Look at this. This is your gluconic acid, COOH, CH2OH. If it is treated with HNO3, and it is going to give you saccharic acid. Whereas glucose is not oxidized to saccharic acid. When you see a glucose structure is this CHO and CH2OH, and it is on treatment with HNO3. It is also gives rise saccharic acid. So that this part of the statement is wrong. I want to say this is a wrong statement. Fructose gives a positive Fehling test because it isomerizes in oxidizing agent to give glucose and another aldohexoses in presence of Fehling's reagent. So it can give. So B is a true statement. Invert sugar is an equimolar mixture of D-glucose and D-fructose formed after hydrolysis of the corresponding disaccharide. That's the reason why it is said that invert sugar. So the statements are a little bit confusing, but it is clear. It is given simply from the NCERT. Luckiest part is the total advanced paper is under the boundaries of the NCERT content, but it is given large amount of applications. Specific rotation of invert sugar is, you can see minus 50.5 plus magnitude you take 92.5 by 2. It comes to be here 40 by 2. So it is going to be 40 by 2 is going to be 20, but it is given 40, which is not correct. So you need to be more focused here. The question is very simple. Option B and C are the correct answers. If you have any doubts, please let us know. Now moving ahead, XA and YB. XA and YB are hydrogen-like species. The wavelength of light absorbed during the transition between the states with a principal quantum number n is equal to 1 to n is equal to 2 of XA plus is 1 by lambda. The wavelength of light absorbed during the transition state with the principal quantum number is n is equal to 2 to n is equal to 4 for another species YB plus is 9 lambda, and it is given as lowest possible values. So we can say simply 1 by lambda is equal to RG square of 1 by n1 square minus 1 by n2 square. So for XA plus, that is going to be 1 by lambda is equal to R, I want to say Z1 square, and n1 is given as 1 by 1 by 2 square. So 1 by lambda is equal to R Z1 square, 3 by 4 is coming. And for this YB2 plus YB plus is another hydrogen like species, is given as 1 by 9 lambda is equal to R Z2 square. I just want to say here 1 by 2 square minus 1 by 4 square. So 1 by 9 lambda is equal to R G square. You can get it 3 by 16. By taking this equation 1 and equation 2, you are going to get equation number 1 upon equation number 2 is equal to 1 by lambda 1 by 9 lambda is equal to R G1 square into 3 by 4 and R G2 square into 3 by 16. So Z1 by Z2 ratio is coming to be 3 by 2. So on doing so, you can say the lowest possible values are going to be A is going to be 2 and B is going to be 1. A plus B is going to be 1. 2 plus 1 is going to be 3 is the answer for this question. So simple Bohr's atomic theory hydrogen spectrum analysis. If you have any doubts, please let us know. You might have done this kind of questions in your mock test and all. So let's see the next question. So at a given temperature, it is based on the surface chemistry. Actually, it is from the deleted syllabus, but it is there in the advanced. So at a given temperature, 0.45 gram of acetic acid in 50 milliliters of water is shaken with 1 gram of charcoal, and the pH of the resultant solution is 3. When the pH is equal to 3, Hu plus ion concentration is going to be 10 raised negative 3. So H plus concentration is going to be root Ka dot C. So H plus concentration is going to be 10 raised negative 3. Ka value is going to be here it is given how much it is going to be 10 raised negative 5. 10 raised negative 5 into C. On solving, C comes to be 0.1. So that is the key point, we got it. Once you got it, assume the adsorption of acetic acid from the aqueous solution by charcoal follows the Freundlich adsorption isotherm. It is given as X by M is equal to K C to the power 1 by M. So log X by M is equal to log K, okay, plus 1 by N log C. So here it is given as it's a straight line, slope is going to be 1. When it is going to be slope is going to be 1, X by M is equal to K C to the power 1. So X value is going to be here, molecular mass left after shaking. So mass left after shaking, you are going to see 1 gram with 1 gram of charcoal, 0.45 gram of acetic acid and 50 milliliters resulting to, so the mass left after shaking, it is coming to be W 10 power minus 1. So it is coming to be 10 power minus 1. That is equal to weight by molecular weight 60 into 1000 by 50. 50 milliliters of solution, isn't it? So weight is going to be 0.3. So initially you have taken 0.45 grams. So initially 0.45. So mass after shaking. So it is going to be 0.3. So mass adsorbed is going to be 0.45 minus 0.3 is going to be 0.15, right? So as a slope is given as a 1 here, you can directly say x by m is going to be 0.15 upon 1. It is going to be k into 0.1. K is going to be, you can solve it as 1.5 is the answer for this question. Any doubt? And moving ahead, some more questions are there. Let us do. A solvent S is compound B is partially dissolved into C and D as given below. B gives rise to C and to D. It is at equilibrium. And they are non-volatile in nature. The molecular mass of B is 10 times the molecular mass of S. Standard boiling point and standard enthalpy of vaporization is going to be 10 R. And a solution of B in S with an initial concentration is 0.25 has a boiling point of 408 at 1 bar pressure. In this solution, the mole percent of B has been dissociated. We have to calculate the want half factor. So it is a boiling point. Delta TB is equal to I KB into molality. Let us calculate I value based on the given data. So delta TB is equal to the difference 400 Kelvin and 10 times the molecular mass of this is going to be I. KB you can say mRT naught B square upon 1000 into enthalpy of vaporization. Okay, you can calculate this molecular mass of this R. It is molecular mass is given, let us say X, and I just want to put these values. Okay, 400 Kelvin square into 400 Kelvin square. Okay, upon and 1000 into, it is given as 10 R and its molality is supposed to be 0.25%. So molality is supposed to be 0.25% and whose molecular mass is 10x into 1000 by 99.75. So put these values, total values are supposed to be added here, and on doing so I value is going to be calculated as 1.995. So let us calculate alpha value from this. So alpha value is calculated as B. So 1 minus alpha, 2 alpha and 2 alpha. So that is going to be, I value is going to be 1 minus alpha plus 2 alpha plus 2 alpha is equated with 1.995. Then on solving, alpha value is going to be 0.3316. I want to say the answer is supposed to be 33.16% is the answer for this question. Simply you can do it. This is given in the NCERT and we know this simple formula and you can do it. But only tricky point is going to be how you handle this question. And moving ahead, some more questions are there. Here CONH3 4 Cl2 Cl and cis isomer of this and mer isomer of this is an octahedral complex. So let us calculate the octahedral complexes for this. CO, and it is said that the cis, I just want to take the chlorine over here, and the rest of the things are going to be NH3. And mer isomer of this CO NH3Cl3. And here it is going to be Cl, and it is going to be Cl, and it is going to be NH3, NH3 and NH3. You can do either ways. Okay. Now let us say the sum of the total number of triangles faces with the both complexes having 1 nitrogen atom, 2 chlorine atoms. 1 nitrogen atom, 2 chlorine atoms. I can get a here a mer isomer. Yes, it is the one. And also you can also see the one here and the one here. So like this, two triangles I can get it, and both complexes having 1 nitrogen atom, 2 chlorine atoms, and you can get it like this, you can get it with this, okay, like this triangles. On the other side, 4 triangles you are going to get it. So the total number of triangles you are going to get 2 plus 4 is going to be 6 triangles you will be getting. Any doubt? And bachcho, one more question. Moving ahead, one more question. Yes. In the following sequence of the reactions, major products X and Y are cyclic monomers. Okay. And 500 ml of this X completely react with 5 ml. So let us see what is X and what is Y. Then we will solve this part of the numerical here. Okay. Here CH3I. CH3I, when it is treated with KCN, you are going to get CH3CN. It is treated with H3O plus heat it CH3COOH, and on treatment with red phosphorus, it is going to be Hell-Wallhard-Jelensky reaction. You are going to get CH2COOH-NH2. This is your glycine. This is your glycine. X is your glycine. Now coprolactam. So the coprolactam structure appears like this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So it is on hydrolysis, you are going to see. It can be broken over here, and it is going to be COOH and CH2 and NH2, and it is going to be 5 times. It is a coprolactam, and this is a hydrolysis product, and this is your Y. And the X plus Y is, so single biodegradable acyclic copolymer Z as only the product. So that is going to be nylon 2,6. Nylon 2, 6 is the product. Now let us talk about the 500 ml of the X completely react with 500 mole of Y to gives us 1 mole of single nylon 2,6. So 1 mole of the single nylon 2,6 appears, NH2 CH2 C double bond O NH and CH2 5 times and COOH. This is your nylon 2,6 structure. From this nylon 2,6 structure, X plus Y biodegradable past. So this part and this part as lost as water molecule, and let us calculate the number of moles. Mass of the water lost is going to be number of moles of water lost. It is going to be 500 into 2 minus 1. That is going to be 999. And the mass of the water triple nine into 18, and it is coming to be 17,982. So you are almost reached to the point. On doing so, mass of Z polymer, mass of Z is going to be 75 into 500 plus 131 into 500 molecular mass of this minus the water loss 17 999 into 18 17982. On solving this, you will be getting 85,019. So this is your answer for this question. It's a numerical type, you can write it meticulously. Okay. Next, two volatile liquids. Again it is coming to Raoult law. Two volatile liquids A and B form an ideal solution. So once it is given as an ideal solution, you have a liberty to go with anything Raoult law, you can add it. Consider a 5 mole of the solution of B in A inside the closed container having a total vapor pressure of 100 mmHg at 300 Kelvin. The vapor pressure of pure A is at 300 Kelvin is 105 mmHg. Assume that A and B have as an ideal gases in the vapor phase. Given that R value, molecular mass is 50 is given, molecular mass B is 60 is given, and density of liquid B is given 1 atm is equal, conversion factor is also given. And at 300 Kelvin, the ratio of the molar mass of pure B, this is the second part of the question, and we have to solve this as well as this. Okay, I will solve in one shot, and you will get it. And this question, we know that Pt is equal to P naught A mole fraction of A plus P naught B mole fraction of B. So Pt has to be equated with 100. Pt has to be equated with 100. It is going to be 105, and it is mole fraction is given 1000 upon its molecular mass is going to be 50. It is given as a 50, and 1000 upon 50 plus it is going to be 5 moles of this. And on solving plus P naught B, how much it is given? You have to evaluate this. P naught B into, it is going to be 5 upon 1000 by 50 into 5. On solving P naught B, I am going to get it as simple as 80 mmHg. I got it, 80 mmHg. So this part of this you can calculate it. From there you can calculate the mole fraction. Density of this B is given as 0.5 gram per milliliter, right? 0.5. Moles of volume in liquid phase, moles So, molar volume in liquid phase, you can calculate it as 57 upon 0.5 of the x. Let us say move into the, let us, of course you can say it is an x, and molar volume in the vapor phase, you can use V by N is equal to RT by P. So, it is given as a P 80 mmHg and 760, and R value 0.0821, into temperature it is given normal 300. Okay. On solving, so you are going to get a 228,000 milliliters. Okay. And we can take this is going to be x, and the ratio of x and x dash, you can take it as 57 by 50 upon 228,000, and if you do so, you are going to get 1 upon 2000. As the time is very less, I just want to simplify it as quickly as possible. The question is asking about x dash, and x is going to be 2000. So, one question answer we already got it. And mole fraction in the vapor phase, the mole fraction in the vapor phase, you can say mole fraction in the vapor phase, it is going to be 80 into 1/5 upon 100. You are going to get 0.16 is the answer for the second question. So, like that the questions are going to be solved here, and JEE Advanced 2026 solutions are really helpful in doing so. Okay, let us solve one more question here. The last question, the question thread is given. The question thread is given, and this question thread has two questions, and we solve it and we can finish up this. So, you are going to see this is the one. This is your methyl group, this is your methyl group. When it is treated with Cl double bond O Cl, this part is going to be Friedel-Crafts acylation. Friedel-Crafts acylation. And you are going to see this. Okay. And this is treated with NaIN heated SN2 reaction. It is going to be I. Okay. And this undergo sodium phenoxide, it is going to be attacked here. NO2, and it is going to be double bond O. Okay. And this is treated with NaBH4. This is treated with NaBH4. This is the C double bond O, should come here. Yes. C double bond O, acylation, na? C double bond O. Okay. Now, this is treated with NaBH4. You are going to get this OH. At meta position, NO2 should be pakka. And PBr3, you are going to get a KOF. It is going to be Br, and So it is a nitrogen containing compound, and if it is treated with NH3, L is supposed to be in the place of Br, NH2 should be there. Okay, and this is treated with PHSNA. Br NO2. This Br is substituted with OPH. So now you got the everything. Now the volume of 1 molar aqueous solution of H2SO4 required to completely neutralize the ammonium evolved in 5.2 gram of Zeldal method of nitrogen estimation. So this is a nitrogenous compound. You have to estimate the nitrogen in that. So the conversion is connected to the Zeldal method. Let us solve it on a Zeldal operation. Here moles of L, the compound L is going to be 5.72 upon 286. It is given in the question, it is going to be 0.2. So moles of NH3 is equal to, so moles of L. So you got it is 0.2. Fine. And equivalence of NH3 is equal to equivalence of H2SO4. That is the logic we use in the Zeldal method. So that is it is going to be 0.02 into its n factor is 1, and it is going to be equivalence 1 into 2 into volume. If you solve, so volume is going to be 0.01 liter, that is going to be 10 milliliter is the answer for the first half of the question. So the next half of the question, it is given in the sulfur estimation by Carrier's method, the amount of barium sulfate is formed. So I mean to say moles of M, so that is a sulfur containing compound, right? It is going to be 3.79 upon 379 is the molecular mass, is going to be 0.01. That is equal to moles of barium sulfate. So weight of barium sulfate is going to be 0.01 into its molecular mass 233. So you are going to get 2.33 is the answer for this question. So like that you can solve the questions, practical organic chemistry, basic principles of organic chemistry in 11th standard. These are direct questions. And the overall picture for this paper 2 JEE analysis is, it is a moderate to difficulty level, and you can do the best. If you could able to answer at least 12 to 14 questions from the chemistry, you will be in JEE examination. So hope you all enjoyed the session. We will see in the next upcoming analysis sessions. Thank you very much. Thank you. Signing off, Suresh, Faculty of Chemistry from Infinity Lane. Thank you.